We are live here on Plus One EXP's Roll for Content channel tonight with another actual play here at Plus One EXP. We're a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation. My name is Tony Vicinda. I'll be your host here tonight, but I'll also be one of your players. So you can find everything we do at Plus One EXP across all social media platforms or at plusoneexp.com. If you go there, you buy our games, any of our bombs, anything like that. It helps support the work that we do here on the channel. You can also support us directly by going to coffee.com/plus1exp. There's links for all that stuff right below if you're watching us on Twitch, but you didn't come here to hear me talk about that. You came here to watch us play a game. Let's meet the other people we are going to be playing with tonight. Aaron, tell us who you are, what you do, and if you want to be found on the internet, where people can find you.
Hey everybody, it's Aaron Gilly coming to you live from Richmond, Virginia. HR professional by day and tabletop gamer and all-around improv, hopefully funny person by night. You can find me on Twitter at HeyGillyGilly.
Awesome. Dean, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and where people can find you online.
Hi everyone, my name is Dean Eaton. I'm located in Missouri. I don't do a lot at the moment, but if you want to find me, you can find me at GeekestDean on both Instagram and Twitter. I just kind of I'm an internet putz. That's I should put that as my official title internet putz.
Get some merch made. That way all the internet putzes can band together. And then last but not least, our GM and the designer of the Spiral Dice system that we will be playing tonight. We've got John, and I'm going to say the last name for the first time. Should have checked beforehand. Kolner is what I'm going to go with. Could be a hard in, but I don't know. John, tell people who you are, what you do, if I pronounced your name right, but also tell us a little bit about Spiral Dice and the game we're going to be playing tonight.
It's Colliner. See, we're pretty close. It's like Colin, but more so.
All right.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm John. You can find me on Twitter at spiral_dice. You can go to my website spiraldice.com. No underscore there. And you can check me out on my Kickstarter, which is, I think it has 11 days left now.
There's also a short link that goes to that Kickstarter right below your beautiful face on stream right now, too. So there you go.
Yeah, so I'm John. I'm going to be running this game tonight. This is actually a released one-shot called NYC&D, which you can find on itch. You all are going to be my players, and I'm excited to run it for all of you.
Give us a little bit of a taste about what Spiral Dice is all about. So, like, you've got
Sure.
the Kickstarter that's live right now. Give us the elevator pitch for the system.
Sure, yeah. So the system that we're going to be running is called Sapio. The Kickstarter is for Spiral Dice because basically we want to make a bunch of these dice. And, the elevator tagline is they are simple dice that can drive unexpected and complex narratives in RPGs. And that's whether you're using them in this Sapio system, which is designed, with them as the core from the ground up, or you can use them in your own system of your own design, or you can use them as a GM tool, kind of in the place of random tables, your D100 rolls, and things like that. There's a lot more information at the Kickstarter and at spiraldice.com if you want to check them out. They help spice up your narrative game in your RPGs.
Cool. Awesome. I'm super excited to sit down and play. With that said, we always like to make sure that everybody stays safe here on the channel, that our players, or those who are on stream, are comfortable, as well as all of our viewers are aware of a little bit about the content that's coming up. We have a hard line against sexual violence on the channel, and if the system doesn't provide a safety toolkit, we use lines, veils, and the X card. So lines are things that may happen in the world of the game we're playing in, but don't happen on stream, and our game doesn't contain them. Veils are things that might happen in the course of the game, but that we treat delicately, or we address in a certain way, or that we go slowly through to make sure that everyone is comfortable as we do through. So, and then the X card is a way for players, whether that's the GM or any of the other players, to basically throw up an X, type it in the chat privately, or just say it out loud. If there's any confusion about what the issue was, that there's usually not, identify what that issue was, and then we can move forward in a different way. If they don't want to explain it, they don't have to. We just pause, identify the issue, move forward in a different direction. It's just a way for us to pause the game, create clarity around what's happening, and move forward in a better way. So with that said, I know we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but does anybody have any other lines or veils that they want to add into that?
No, I think
I think just ableism and in general is just definitely one to shy away from. Probably goes without saying, but always important to remember.
Awesome. And hey, look at CA Berlitz is watching us right now. Says that they love that we explicitly use safety tools. We like to do that also too. But which is why we do it, I guess. But anybody else have any other ones that they want to add in there? And if not, John, can you give us and the audience a little bit of heads up? You don't have to give us any of the behind the scenes details. Do we need to worry about gore, peril to children, peril to animals, any of that kind of stuff as we're going through the session?
Yeah, so there are guns potentially involved. They will. I would prefer that they not be used on people. That is a hard line. There will be fantasy violence, probably, and then beyond that, I think that's mainly what we will encounter in this session.
Yeah, we also are playing a set of characters who have a high hunting affinity. So if hunting bothers people,
Yes.
that might be another good one just to know ahead of time. Because I'm sure, though we will not necessarily actively be harming animals, there may be references to dead animals on a fairly regular basis, especially early on in the session.
I would throw it in as a distinct possibility given your character's bent.
Right.
So
with that said, I'm going to hand things over to you to just kind of take us into the game.
Sure. Great. Yeah. So first off, like a little overview of kind of how this is going to work. Tony, Dean, and Aaron have read the rules already, so they're kind of familiar with the flow of the game. But basically, they have defined their characters in terms of descriptors called character elements. And when we get to a situation where they need to roll the dice, whether it's going to be an interesting situation if they fail, what they're going to do is they're going to call out character descriptors one by one and pick up gradually more dice. And these are the spiral dice that talked about just before this. And they're going to roll those against a target number that I specified beforehand. If they hit the target number, they succeed. And that's the number of stars that come up on the dice. And then there are these spirals and antibody symbols or Ys called spare. And these two symbols offset. And net spirals means that I get to determine some fun twist that happens. And net spare means that they get to determine some fun twist that happens. I have some written on their NYC&D character document for them to reference. There's also more on the spiraldice.com website. The ones on the website are kind of more generic. These are kind of more, tuned to the setting on the sheet here. I may, after we get comfortable with this, ask the audience if they want to contribute any suggestions for use of spare and spiral, and players feel free to ask the audience if you get stumped. Let's see. I think that's like a good kind of intro to the system. That should be enough for those following along at home to get a feel for it. So what we've done up to this point is Tony, Aaron, and Dean have created characters, and they have created a group that these characters belong to. So if you could, it'd be great if one of you could introduce kind of what your deal as a group is, and then you could each introduce your characters one by one and give just a little bit of their spiel. Why don't we start with Tony?
Yeah, I can start vamping on what our deal is, but I feel like we all contributed in the chat. So what we knew is that we needed to be a group that had a reason to be in New York City during this time, potentially with guns in hand. There are a couple of suggestions for what that could be: gang-related, off-duty police officers, security force, other things like that. We chose to be a food truck, and in order to make sure we had access to weapons, what good food truck is there out there that's name is not some sort of over-the-top pun? So we are the operating crew of Game On food truck. Game On features meat that at some point during the course of that week, my character and my friends have gone out and hunted. So these are fresh kills. And my character is the owner and operator and customer service / cashier. And I also operate the keg stand, which is not a keg stand. It is like a deer stand, but it's just got a keg in the middle of it. So I pour the beers. And I think my favorite item on the menu for my character are the hunting seasoned curly fries, which I think was one of Aaron's contributions to there. And they just cost a couple of bucks. My character's name is Thaddeus T. Trapper. They're in their early 40s, brown eyes, salt and pepper hair, 5 o'clock shadow, attractive but rough looking man, typically dressed in camo pants, vest with a shotgun slung over his back shoulder that says customer complaint department on the edge of it. Whether it's real, whether it's fake, no one tends to ask. And he can usually be found in this little pop-out cashier stand and kind of in the customer area around the tables that they have set up around the food truck. He also has a change belt because I thought, that'd be fun. It is one of the old-fashioned ones where you can like ka-ching, 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 ka-ching out the different parts. You got to keep the bank safe. You know what I'm saying? So that's Thaddeus T. Trapper. When we're not in town running the food truck, which is most of the time, I'm out at my hunting lodge. Let's say in Vermont, which feels like slightly too far away, but sounds right.
You make the trip back and forth.
Hunting and getting the meat that we need for our next run into the city.
All right. How about Aaron?
All right. I am so excited to play here. I am playing Marty DiGiulio. Marty is the hype man of the food trucks. If you've been to a food truck and you see that person acting like a maniac out front trying to get you to purchase their wares, that is me. Marty is 28. He has green eyes, salt and pepper hair. He's like 5'8", about $165 weight, so not pretty small guy. And in contrast with the hunting themed truck that we have, Marty has a blue 3-piece suit and an orange tie. So the orange is kind of like hunter's vest orange, but he's wearing just a straight up blue 3-piece suit, vest, and shiny shoes. He has his hype man gun, which is like a t-shirt cannon. So you go to a game, you see some of the mascot shooting the shirts out of the t-shirt cannon. Well, Marty has that here as well, shooting out merch and things for the Game On food truck.
Aaron, can I say I love it because when you started describing your character, I was definitely thinking maybe 18, 19 years old. But I love that he's in his late 20s and is still the sign spinner / merch shooter for the company.
Yeah, because his official job as a full job is promotions consultant, because he does this for lots of other businesses too. He is essentially the human form of a wacky inflatable flailing arm tube man. He's out in front of like CrossFit gyms and body pump classes. Any of those other things people are trying to make a dime on. He's out there promoting and hyping, but also is a dance instructor as well. And he's out there. One of the dance businesses he was shilling for actually said, "Hey, we can only pay you in free classes." And long story short, here he is now.
Amazing. Dean, why don't you give me your character?
I'm playing Azig Albert. He is also living out in Vermont with his friend who's running a food truck. Where's the... Oh, there we go. That way in camera. He is primarily a silat fighter, which is a type of Indonesian martial arts. Specifically, he focuses on knives. But at part-time to help out his friend, plus he likes to live through his passion of cooking. He acts as the chef for the food truck, where he handles all the fresh meat that comes from that is killed every week and serves it to the people out there. He's also the barely elder step cousin to Aaron's character.
I love the idea.
All right.
I do want to clarify. I also don't like. I know this is a food truck, and there are licensing requirements for food trucks. I don't know that this food truck is licensed in any way, shape, or form, and almost all of the equipment is just old modified like military grade equipment that's been slammed into a giant like flatbed truck. It is not a standard food truck in any way, shape, or form.
I actually had that thought as you were talking about the game food truck. I was like, I bet those licensing requirements are real tough. But it's good to know that you maybe don't really, you show up in parks, you show up in other places, or maybe you pay somebody off. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I just think like we go in places where it's really busy and like to the point where like no one's out checking like we're not in the city on the slow day where the city employees we only hit high traffic times because then no one's gonna come by and check your licensing then.
That's right. I'm getting your name set up here. Okay. So those are, in the game, basically, it's collaborative generation. Those are the first 2 questions, and they've already created their characters. Question 3 for the group. You all have a person you care about in common. Who is that person?
Let's see. You guys are family. So why don't y'all figure out what family member you have in common that you really care about, and then I will figure out a connecting point to that person.
So I kind of envision it in a way like my dad is, like thinks I'm a total mess up. Like he thinks I'm a total like waste of space. And maybe like he's married to like maybe Dean's like sister or somebody, and like they all like. It's like I'm a pity hire for them, it's like, hey, like don't come to Christmas this year if you don't ask Marty to work in your food truck. And so I almost wish it's like like Dean's sister or whomever it is that my dad is married to, she's like the matriarch of the family, and like she says, you will bring Marty to along to your food truck job. You will do it.
So is it the sister or the dad that's the person in common?
Dean, what do you think?
I think as the person in common, it'd probably be like the sister. Maybe you like her or something, like as a person.
Yeah, it's like my stepmom. Yeah, so my stepmom and Isaac's sister.
Cool.
And
how about Lily DiGiulio?
Oh yeah.
There we go. How about this? How about Lily was my my CO back when I was in the military.
Okay.
I love that.
Great. Yeah.
All right. That's good.
Yeah, that works for me. Okay. So Lily is the person in common. Now, you are, so year's 2019. It is the weekend before Halloween, and Halloween's like on Thursday. So some people are out for Halloween stuff. It is evening. And you are celebrating for some reason, or you are at a celebration. Why are you celebrating, or why are you at a celebration, and what is it? What is the venue?
Well, I mean, I think the real easy answer to that is there is a major street event, and we are there in full Game On press to serve up some delicious whatever we killed this week.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Block party.
Let's see.
I mean, I think we could easily it's a week beforehand. Like we could easily go with like Dios de los Muertos, like pre-Halloween, festivals in like the, it is in New York, right? So we go to like Spanish Harlem, right? We go to like a part of the city where that would be a big deal, and we have pulled up to serve some venison barbacoa. and cabeza and tripa and lengua, because I believe in using every single part of the animal.
That's right. You had those pieces, and
that's
so
right.
Of course you can use them. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so those are all the character questions. You are serving up hot food, all parts of the animal at this Dia de la Muerta street party. Now the question is, I got 2 GM questions for you. How are you dressed, and how are you armed? I think Tony slash Thaddeus already answered, seeing as you may have all already kind of answered, given that you have like stock ways that you dress, unless you are dressed up for this festival.
I mean, it is a festival. Customer service is important. Customer satisfaction is important. I definitely think hearing how people are armed and if they are wearing a costume is a great thing. Aaron, you got any ideas?
Yeah, I think that Marty still has his signature blue suit on, but he has like an eye patch and maybe like a little kid's pirate bandana around his head. And he's like, I'm a sales pirate. Or like he's like, he's like trying to play along, maybe even begrudgingly.
And are you armed or not? Are you armed or not?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so he has his T-shirt cannon, but he's wearing it. It's pretty good sized pneumatic tube gun, but he's still got it like tucked in his back pocket like a U.S. Marshal would. Like it's like in the back of his pants.
Got it.
Here, I'll pitch this. What if, and it depends on how Dean wants to go. What if I was just like, okay, guys, we've got to dress up, so we're going nautical theme, but everybody interpreted that in wildly different ways. So you've got the pirate going. I have just switched out all my normal army stuff for Navy stuff. So I have like the Navy, the sailor hat, like tilted instead. No vest. I've got the customer complaint department, but I've like strapped a harpoon to the top of it also too. Not at all functional. Like I just happen to have that. I do have a big knife that I always have with me also too. And I'm wearing like sailor pants and vest, like very antiquated, like old Navy look, shore dress. And so I just basically flipped from Army to Navy for the night.
I like that. I would imagine that my character wouldn't really like to be hindered by a full-on costume. So I would imagine he's doing like because I think it's funny, jean shirt, jean pants, jean apron that has the Game On logo on it. And then for the costume, he's wearing like the sailor's skull cap and an anchor pin. That's it, because he doesn't want the clothes to get in the way of his cooking.
Fair enough. And I assume you have a variety of cooking knives at your disposal back there. Great.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there are an unusually large amount of bear traps just hanging around all over the place. I did write bear trap on my character sheet, but I think the pastiche is like there's a bunch of old rusty bear traps in reasonably dangerous places all around the truck.
Oh, great. Okay, final question. So Lily is not there tonight. Where is Lily, and why is she there?
Part of me thinks that like, and again, if someone interject, if you don't want me to steamroll over this, like she's in New York as well, but she's like down like in Midtown at like a nice Italian restaurant. It's like she's like humoring us by going with us. She's like, all right, I'll catch the train back to Washington Heights or wherever you're at before we leave. I'm going to Don Pepe's on 42nd and Lexington. I'll see you in 3 hours.
Yeah, she's literally just coming up here to get, to leave Vermont to go to a bigger city for a few hours. That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
I love it.
Okay, I think we're ready to go then. So you pulled up, got ready, probably well before this festival got into full swing on the street, and it had to be a few hours ago. You each independently felt kind of a chill go through you, like a full like body racking chill, but then like it was gone. And you were setting up, and so you kind of continued setting up, and eventually people started to filter in, and the night got, more and more raucous. And now it's at a point where, it's probably 9:30 p.m., 10 p.m. People are out and dancing. There's like chatter, talking, couples together, tons of people in costumes, tons of other stalls and vendors all along the street. And you all are still serving food, of course. So I'm imagining that Marty's like out in front, still beckoning people to come to the truck. I'm imagining that Isaac is hard at work in the back cooking, and Thaddeus is, manning the window as you do. I don't think you really need to describe what you're doing at this moment because probably
clarify, it's not a window.
accurate.
It's certainly a kiosk, and it's right in front of the keg stand.
That's right. That's right. Yes, a kiosk. So as you were, chatting with customers, I think, Marty sees this, Thaddeus sees this. There's all sorts of like kind of fun stuff. There's ornaments, there's people with like big balloons and things like that. There's the hanging lanterns, but you see this shape moving among the crowd, and it's pretty big. And people don't seem to be reacting to it at first, or at least they're like sort of like treating it like it's novel. And Thaddeus, it looks a lot like a bear, but it's kind of far away. First off, I guess, what do you do?
Are there lots of people in costumes?
Yeah.
I point out, I'll point out the bear costume to like one of the customers. Like, you see that guy over there? He looked like he's dressed up as a bear.
Kind of took my head out of the side of the food truck to go ahead and take a look at it.
So I see it. I'm like, bear, come get some deer. Boing, 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 boing.
And Marty's going through the crowd to get a closer look.
Yeah. Oh, this bear is sick.
That's almost as big as the one we took down a couple weeks ago. That one was delicious. Very dangerous.
So as you get a little closer, what happens is it moves fast, and somebody screams, and you can see like somebody walks away clutching their arm, and then there is a sound, and the sound is this high-pitched kind of shriek roar that it's and a bunch of people around it just like stumble backwards, gripping their ears, and you're just far enough away. It hurts your ears, but like you don't fall down. But other people are looking like really dazed, and it is that moment that you see its face turn towards you, and it has the full-on beak of like a bird creature, and you can see that it's got feathers, and it is like swiping at the crowd and like turning in circles, and it is definitely starts to like wend its way your direction as people are getting out of its way. What do you do?
Uncle Isaac,
Yeah.
Uncle Isaac, help!
Yeah. He's gonna go ahead and grab a couple of his knives and like, we should probably do something about this. As he turns over to Thaddeus there.
You got to stay in your lane, Isaac. You got to stay in your lane. If you're not cooking it, it's not your problem.
Look, we got to do the right thing.
And Marty, you had called back, and now it kind of locks its eyes on you and is just sort of sauntering at a leisurely pace towards you. It's probably 40 feet away from you right now.
So Marty never took any martial arts, but he did take lots of different dance classes that resemble it. So like he like strikes like a Brazilian capoeira like stance, but only from what he's learned in dance. And he's like doing that to try to like not necessarily intimidate the monster, the creature, but to like prepare for what's next. So whatever that stance looks like, he's doing it mostly confidently.
Great. Thaddeus, this thing looks realer and realer as it is approaching. What are you doing?
I'm going to move some of the bear traps to the edge of the customer area, and just try to keep the customers calm. Don't worry. We'll set up a few fortifications. Just go ahead and sit back down. It's fine.
I would say the customers are at this point like definitely shying, like running. Many of them are running. The few that are not running are like backing up and kind of, they're not paying attention to you. I mean, most of them have already paid, so like that's nice because
Right.
they're just sort of leaving their food and going. Some of them are taking their food and running. But you, Marty, are striking a pose, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you are being approached by this creature, and it gets right up in front of you. What is your goal with striking this pose? Like, are you trying to jump out of the way? Should it attack you? Are you trying to fight it?
So one of his specialization for his dance side job is kinesthetic control. And so whichever way the creature attacks, he will have like that alternate reaction to like get out of its way. So his body's kind of kinesthetically mastered to try to dodge out of the way. If it goes one way, he will instinctually kind of go the other way.
Okay, great. Yeah, it goes to swipe at you. Please roll me a check to get out of the way.
How many do you want me to roll?
So you pick up one die. You always pick up one die.
Yep.
You have your side profession of dance instructor. Pick up a die for that. And you have your specialization under that of kinesthetic control. So that's 3. Do you have any qualities that apply?
See here. Quick reflexes. And I also have creative, but I don't know if that would count.
Well, you can only apply one quality for a given roll. So quick reflexes it is. You're at 4 dice, and your target is a 3.
All right.
Please roll the first check of the game.
I hope you rolled up a second character. Lisa's going to appear all of a sudden, or Lily's going to appear.
All right. So I have rolled one of the star dice.
That's not good.
Yeah, then a blank dice, and then a double, not the spiral, but the other one.
Spare.
So a double spare and a single spare. So I have 3 spare, a blank, and a star.
Cool. So the 1 star means you got 1 hit against a target number 3. So that means you failed. But you have 3 spare, which you will get to spend after you take a moderate injury of slashed across the arm. So basically, this thing swipes at you, and like, even through the lens of this being a fighting technique that has been applied to dance, the fighting technique itself is not really meant to fight bears. And so you don't get out of the way. This thing is much quicker than you had expected. But how would you like to spend your spare? You can get a relatively big effect for 3 of those guys.
Let's see here. I'm going to. So I feel like I it slashed me across his arm. I scream high pitched, and I roll in a way that draws the attention of the other 2 people from the food truck. Like this, whatever movement I've done signifies to them that they have seen me get hit in a way that would not be like a me crying wolf or pretending to be hurt. It's like a very visualized, oh gosh, he really got hurt.
Yeah, so you get slashed, you kind of like roll out of the way, kind of back towards the food truck, and you all see like a spray of blood and the flash of that orange tie waving as he's rolling backwards. Congratulations, you have got their attention. What's everybody doing?
I've been moving the bear traps into a perimeter, so I've moved a few bear traps between the edge of the customer service area and this creature.
So you're just hanging out, moving those bear traps, making sure the perimeter is secured.
Yeah. That's that's what I'm doing.
And explicitly not helping your
Explicitly
friend in any other way.
Explicitly not helping because that's until they cross the plane into the customer service area, you know, that's Marty's area of control, and so like, you know, Marty's obviously on the problem, you know, and so
Aaron did spend this so both of you would notice. So Isaac, out of the like back door of the or like the side door of the food truck, you see this as well. What are you doing?
So to get an idea of the scene, did he walk up past the perimeter of the food truck, talk to the bear, and then get knocked back into the food truck?
He's still beyond where the traps are. He's maybe like 20 feet away from the food truck at this point, but has drawn the attention of this large creature. You can like see him out the door, and this thing is staring him down and advancing on him again as he rolls backwards.
All right, so I need to do the right thing here and protect my nephew, who's barely younger than I am. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to jump the trap, so to speak, and I'm going to attack him with my knives. Trying to like bulk damage and hopefully get some attention.
So this moves us into an action sequence. And the way this works is that everybody does stuff at once, but one of you is focal and one of you is not. I'm assuming only two of you are actually in this action sequence, although, you know, we could potentially have Thaddeus go at the end. But so Isaac, you are going to be focal for the first thing. You're running in and advancing on this thing.
All right.
And Marty, you are so you can basically either help, and what helping does is that would give him an extra die. You have to describe how you're helping, and if he rolls spiral, it exposes you to danger. So you basically invoke one of your elements, but there's risk to yourself, but you boost the chance of his roll succeeding. And then what's going to happen is there's going to be another turn within that round where you're going to go and you won't be able to invoke the elements you used for your own stuff. So the question is, Isaac's advancing. Marty, what are you doing?
I definitely want to help. And so using very creatively thinking, you know, what would this creature want? The smell of blood. So I take one of the Game On t-shirts from the t-shirt cannon, wipe it, rub it all on my bloodied shoulder, put it back in the t-shirt cannon, and say, "Hey, bear, go fetch!" And I shoot the t-shirt cannon, try to get it away from my uncle, to distract him. So, you know, to distract the creature.
Yeah. I'll let that happen this round. Normally, in one of these action sequences, keep it like tight when you are being not focal. So I might like rub it and then throw the t-shirt. But loading the t-shirt gun sounds fun, so let's make it happen. Isaac, how exactly are you advancing with the knives? Are you throwing them, or are you going to try and stab this thing?
Given that he's right there on the creature's right there on him, I think since I'm trying to get the creature off him, I'm going to go ahead and just get up on it with my chef's knives.
Got it. Okay, you are rolling the check. Pick up dice according to the rules. So start with 1, okay. And then open your character sheet.
Then I have bladed combat or profession, select fighter, and then bladed combat, which adds 2 die, and then strong for equality. Can I invoke strong?
Yeah, absolutely. And okay. Marty can invoke, I'm assuming like creative is that you have creative, right? To throw that extra die in. So you have 6 dice on this roll. And this is against you said you're getting up close with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's against a target 3.
All right. Okay, I got one die that has a hit, one that has a dot, one that's a scroll and a hit, another that has a scroll and a hit, 2 scrolls and a double hit.
So you're going to count up all the hits. 4 hits.
5 and
5
5.
hits.
Sorry.
Good.
And then
And how many spirals and how many spare?
No spare, but I got 4 spirals.
Okay, great. So you run up at this thing, and the names, normally the names are underneath players. Marty fires the t-shirt cannon, and it sort of like looks off beyond its shoulder as the bloodied shirt goes by, and then you run up and stab it. Where are you stabbing it?
I'm gonna say like stab for the like eye, as far as I can tell. I can also just kind of like blind it.
Great, you get it next to the eye, and it's got a big head, but it does start bleeding a lot as soon as that knife goes in. That being said, it shakes its head and knocks you back and to the ground, sort of like just outside the range of the traps. Marty, what do you do? You are focal now.
Yeah. So at this point, I've seen the sheer power of this thing, and I want to try to run like hell from it.
Okay. Are you running back to the truck, or are you just running away?
I want to say just instinctively he'd say he runs back to the truck.
Okay. All right. Yeah, give me a check to run away.
All right, sir. Let's see here. So one for, to start with one. May another one for kinesthetic control, and another one for quick reflexes. So 3.
And I think you get one for dance instructor too.
Oh yeah,
basically
instructor. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be 4, and that is against another target 3. Isaac, are you tossing anything in to help? Or are you mostly staying out of the way here?
What can I toss in to help him escape? Because can I throw a knife at him in game or something?
So let's see. Let's look at your character sheet. You sort of teaching rules on the fly here. You cannot use the things you invoked last turn.
Okay.
But you do have available. I think you might be out of stuff. Intuitive or reliable. So I don't know if you can help.
Yeah.
You spent all your. Okay. I'm gonna say it's 4 dice. Then go ahead and make the roll.
All right. So I got 4 hits, 2 spirals, and a spare.
Okay. So yeah, that's 1 spiral left. 1 spiral left over. So you like get out of your roll. You hustle backwards. This thing like turns around and kind of sees you, and it steps forward, and its foot like is right next to names are so hard. Isaac's head. As Isaac is on the ground, but you manage to hustle backwards like into the food truck. Thaddeus, is there anything you would like to do besides like keep your traps in position?
Is it still coming this way?
It is advancing towards the food truck.
Well,
yes.
I mean, I'll pull out the customer service department off my shoulder, and get ready, because if it comes in that customer area, it's gonna have a problem.
Are you just posting up and waiting?
I'm just posting up on the other side of the traps. This is everybody else is out of formation, but that does not affect whether or not I'm gonna man my post. I don't care if Isaac's run out to help Marty. That's his own business. I'm not happy about it, but I'm gonna man my post.
I think what's gonna happen next. So Marty has now scrambled back into the truck, bleeding. You can decide what you want to do, whether you want to close the doors, whether you like. Now both Thaddeus and Isaac are out of the truck. So it's your decision what to do there. I think that Isaac at this point is focal, and we're going to start a new round. And so, Isaac, this bear steps next to you, and then it like looks down at you with its big head and its long beak, and it is within chomping distance and rears back to bite you. What do you do?
I'm going to try and because I'm as far as I know, I'm still on the ground. I'm gonna try to spin out of the attack, and then use that momentum to get past the perimeter of the traps if I can.
Okay, so you're getting out of the way there, and you know what? Because Thaddeus to this point, he hasn't. Tony hasn't called it out, but Thaddeus hasn't really helped. I think that you get a luck, Isaac, for Thaddeus not having engaged up to this point. That being said, are you helping on this one, Tony?
I'm not. Just for anybody out there watching, so there's a trait, or there's a thing called your worst instinct. Is that what it's called mechanically?
Your worst impulse.
My worst impulse, and my worst impulse is your land is your land, my land is my land, and so I think people should take care of their own problems in their own spaces, and that is how I run the food truck, and so sometimes when I don't help, things are better for other people, but it does mean I cannot actively help them. So it is a limited amount of help as opposed to the more help I could probably provide directly, and so which I just think is a super dumb fun thing that I did with the system. And so, yeah.
Isaac, feel free to roll a check to not get bit in the face by spinning out and getting out of there. And you have 3 luck now, so if you want to spend it to get more dice on this might be a good time.
Yeah.
You don't have to though.
No, that's actually a good idea. Do you think I could invoke my martial art here to help me with the dodge?
Absolutely. So I'm thinking you start with 1. You can get 2 for Salat Fighter. Dodging is definitely part of it. It's not bladed combat, but if you're pushing off real hard, you could add 1 for strong, and that gets you to 4.
Okay. I'll go ahead. I'll burn the luck I just got to give me an additional 5th dice, just in case.
5 dice against a target 3. It's easier to shoot this thing than it is to fight it up close. Just FYI for future fights against owlbears.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Roll those 5 dice.
Ooh, that is not good. Got a spiral, a spare, and nothing but blanks for the rest.
That is impressive. That's really hard to get on 5 dice.
It is really hard to get on 5 dice, yes.
Okay, well, the spiral and spare cancel out. So what happens is that you spin out. Are you making your way back within the perimeter of the traps?
Yeah.
So you spin out, and it chomps at where you just were, and then picks that foot up, and you push yourself off, and it just rakes down your back. Take a moderate injury, but you do get back behind the traps. Why don't we, seeing as this thing is probably going to keep pursuing you and it's going to big dumb pursue you right into the traps, why don't we let Thaddeus roll a check to do whatever it is he has already set up to do?
Whatever dumb thing I'm doing. Sure. Let's see. My main principle, I don't think would help me at this point in time. We already used worst impulse is how I'm solving this problem. My main profession is hunter, and so
that's
we'll get 2 for that. My specialization is trapping, so I've got another 1 from that. All right, I'm a food truck owner. I don't know that particularly weighs in here. Even though I'm using the customer service department, I don't think that customer satisfaction probably weighs in here either.
And just to review, 1 rule is that you either add your main profession and potentially specialization, or your side profession and potentially specialization.
Right, so
and then you can add a quality, and I think you've got a good one.
Yeah. So I mean, I could go with inventive. I could go with battle hardened. I feel like this is more battle hardened. I'm staring down this owlbear as it rushes into my fortified position. And so I think that's what we're doing. And as far as I know, like, I don't know that there's an advantage to me shooting it while it steps into my bear trap, so much as there is just letting it wander into my bear traps and then deciding if I'm going to shoot it. So I feel like that would probably be a separate thing. Is that correct?
I mean, you could say, why don't we roll it, and then you can let me know.
We can determine how I did that. Okay, cool. All right. So this is my first time. You know, you said, "Hey, make sure you know how to roll," and I was very confused and was going to ask when I got here. But I have, I think, figured it out. So I'm going to hit 4 spiral dice. There we go. So I just got to
generate them first.
I generate
them
first.
You have to select them and then click them, and you have 5 on this roll because you start with 1,
that's right.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Well, dice. Dang it. Dice.
It's a target 2, by the way, because you're not like directly engaging this thing, and you're set up with traps. Right. It's a smarter way to fight it.
I'm having a hard time selecting these dice. All right, I think I got them all. Roll. All right, so I got, I think I got 6 hits. That seems insane. Hold on.
That's a solid amount of hits.
Am I reading this correctly? Yeah. Are hits the explodey ones? Yeah. So I got 6 hits.
Yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4 spirals. And then 1. Is that a spare then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1 spare. Yeah. So that's net 3 spirals. Okay. Yeah. So it fully does 2 paws in the traps. Just 1, and then like pulls back and it's bleeding, and then another one, and it's got the double paws, and then it screams again, and you're like right there ready to go, focused on it, and it just goes. Take a moderate stress of dazed, because it like rings in your ears to the point that you like are like unable to really think, and you know the world gets a little blurry around you. That being said, this thing is now like stumbling away and not sure what happened, and does not appear to be directly engaging you anymore. It is clomping away and like trying to pull these traps off of it as it is creating distance.
I yell.
What do you do now?
I yell, "Hey! Those are my traps."
Are you gonna attempt to chase this thing down?
Absolutely, it's got 2 of my best bear traps on it with it.
Okay.
So I mean, as it starts to move off, I'm not letting those traps out of my sight. So I will close the distance and shoot it with my shotgun.
Okay. I think at this point it's that's a solid prospect. You're basically shooting it from behind with a shotgun. You can take it down.
Okay.
You successfully fell this creature that has been running away from you. Count 1 dead owlbear among your assets.
Excellent, because it's going on the truck.
And so you now have two bleeding employees. You have, the streets are largely depopulated at this point. People were running away as this fight was taking place. You all can now maybe chat with each other about what's going on, or decompress, or talk. What do you do?
Dang it, Marty! I told you. I'm also talking way louder than I need to because my ears are still ringing. Dang it, Marty! I told you not to bleed in the truck.
I know. Sorry. I'm sorry. I know the first rule of working here is that the only blood in this truck is from the animals, and I'm very sorry for that.
That's right. Rule number 1, you're out of formation, which is rule number 2. Get the first aid kit. Come on out here.
Can you field dress this, or this? Can you field medic my wound?
I mean, I wasn't a medic, but I can slap a bandage on it.
Thanks. I'm too weak.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a first aid kit on the truck, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's required by the certification that we don't have, but also it just doesn't seem like a thing I would not have. So.
It's got some gauze and medical tape. That sounds pretty good.
That's right. I mean, it is probably actually fairly extensive, but from a survivalist and hunter standpoint, like, yeah, absolutely, it is probably a well-stocked medical, like a first aid kit plus. So yeah, we'll as best as possible tend to the wounds. That looked like y'all ever play that that game when I was deployed? Some folks did you sit around, you roll the dice?
Oh yeah, Pathfinder.
Yeah. We got
40K.
we got both kinds here, Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons.
I bet my monsters and mazes.
I think they would used to fight bears that were owls, and that thing sure looked like one.
I mean, you can look at it right now. It's
Like,
right there.
It's laying in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
Look, this ain't one of those role play games those geeks play. Like, man, that thing is real. It's from New York. This is our fault for going to New York.
I mean, you always say the worst things happen when you get to the big city.
Yeah.
I never expected anything like this.
I blame Lily for this. I wish you never married my dad.
Speaking of Lily, you all get a group text at once. And the text says, at Don Pepe's, there are creatures here. They took him. Please come help.
All right, I'm not super excited about you disrespecting the commander, but you know what? It sounds like they're in trouble also too. Also, I want to clarify. I don't know, like if I have a device, I would love to have a pager instead of a like. It's I mean, it's a nice pager. It's a nice pager.
You can
but
have
it's
a pager.
not a cell phone. So I'm blowing up. It just says 911 on it.
So also, do a little additional narration. You get the text. You all read the text. And at that point, something very large, much larger than that creature you fought, with wings and red scales, just like flies over and past you. And in the distance, you see gouts of flame come out of its mouth, and something explodes. The explosion kind of, rings in your ears a little bit. Maybe not in Thaddeus's ears because he's not fully back to hearing
What?
And then all of those nice street lanterns and storefronts, all the lights go out. The lights are still on in your food truck, but everything else goes dark. The skyscrapers that you can see in the distance in the city, the lights are down. And off in the distance, just at the edge, like this street is relatively empty, but you can hear the sounds of things crashing, like not necessarily close by, but like way at the edge of your perception. Things crashing, an occasional scream, like something is real wrong in the city.
Thaddeus?
Yeah.
I think that their flying creature was a dragon.
I'm telling you that there were dragons in that game also too.
Sick.
What we should, I mean, like I look at like, it's not even like tables, it's like barrels and spools of like old like giant wire spools. It's like it is not formal tables that well, we could probably come back and pick these up, but we should probably go ahead and batten down. Looks like the crowd's kind of thinned out, and find ourselves a different part of town. Maybe pick up the commander on the way out.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna step into the back because that's his natural place on the truck, and he's just gonna look over at Marty. I'm gonna tell Lily what you said though.
All right, Marty doesn't even get. Marty says shotgun and like jumps on the other side of the truck.
I imagine because of the nature of my character that it is not actually probably that hard to, like the kiosk like basically slides out and slides in, the keg stand that goes over it also like slides out and slides in. It's just a couple metal poles that kind of hold it up. So we slide the keg back in, we slide the kiosk back in, we leave the spools where they're at, grab the bear trap that is not on the owlbear, toss it back in the back, next to the owlbear.
One bear
also.
trap left. Let's roll.
So, I mean, I could take the other owlbear. You can take it. I got the owlbear and the other 2 bear traps. I just got to get them off still. We'll put it in the part of the truck where the owlbear's in the part of the truck where the blood drains out real easy. Yeah,
you need that in your food truck.
Yeah. You wanna drive or you want me to drive, Isaac?
I think this is one of those situations where the whole offensive driving they teach you might be kind of useful.
All right, I can do it then. And so,
as a result of your first aid, please downgrade the 2 injuries you 2 received to minor injuries.
Okay.
They are patched up. And Thaddeus, I think given a little bit of time, your ears stop ringing and you can clear that stress.
okay.
And by a little bit of time, I mean like 10 minutes. That's
Right. Like I've turned on the radio far louder than it needs to be at first, and then later on I'm like, did you turn up the radio, Marty?
So you start driving. And you get to the end of the street, you kind of get out into, right, you're going to start crossing intersections and making your way through the streets of New York City. And, off in the distance to your right, you're going left, which is great because you see like some sort of large kind of humanoid that look like they might have hair, like a lot of hair, just like running after somebody in the distance. And there's like smoke. And you start to see that down some streets, a lot of cars have gone, and there are pileups. There are cars that have crashed into each other. It's totally dark, but the headlights are like lighting up, like little bits of those streets. And it looks like people have tried to get out and then largely caused traffic jams and fled on foot. And so the driving is not straightforward. Like you are trying to pick your way towards streets that are less traveled, which means going down some alleys. But you turn the corner on one street that looks clear, and what you immediately see is that there is like this low haze in front of you down the street, and it's got sort of a brownish red tint to it. It looks like it maybe comes up to like chest height and it like dissipates at about chest height. But it's kind of filling the street that heads south, which looks to be your best way forward at the moment. What do you do?
Hey, Isaac.
Yeah.
You probably want to put on that gas mask back there.
All right.
And I say, here's a little trick I learned in deployment, and I'm gonna I just flip the switch on the air conditioner to recycle. Tell him to roll up the windows. I was like, this isn't full coverage. This is about 70% of the way there. You're gonna want to go ahead and grab one of those. By the way, I noticed you did some customized merch back there. That was some good innovation with that blood splattered shirt. I think that bear probably really liked that. The cost is coming out of your paycheck because we did not recover the shirt or the money. But just FYI, you may want to grab a couple more of those shirts and that water bottle down there and cover up those vents also too. We're just gonna try to cruise through this thing
right.
real
Great.
slow like.
So give me a check to notice some stuff in front of you in the haze. I think that's whoever's driving.
I am driving.
So what do you have that's useful to notice?
I
stuff?
feel like being a hunter, going out at early hours, like absolutely. I mean, I don't know that this is trapping specifically, so I would say that I don't think that adds in anything. And then I would say battle hardened or sneaky might help. But I mean, I'm fine either way, whichever one we think we're using. So I mean, I think situational awareness or in either one would add there. And so
I think the applicable one here, let's say battle hardened.
Okay. So is that I started with 1, I added 2 more, and then I added one more, so we're at 4.
Yeah, and that's against a target. Let's do 2.
Okay. This is for noticing. Oh, I didn't roll one of those. However, it's looking real good so far. It's looking even better now. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes and 2 spirals.
How are you getting so many hits?
I'm using the spiral dice.
I don't know. Yeah, no,
I've got doubles on. I've got a hit on every die, and I've got doubles on 3 dice.
That's good. It's good stuff. I'm not accusing you of cheating. I'm not doing that.
I wouldn't even know how to in this game. So
That's
far.
right.
Like I am vaguely aware of what's on the dice, but I would have no way. Yeah. I always tell people like, hey, if it's more fun to you to lie about what you rolled on stream, like go nuts. Like I'm not gonna, like, because we have some players who are like, I just want to fail, and I'm like, that's great. Just say you failed sometimes. Like if you're just like you think that's more fun, say it. I don't care.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of nice to be able to roll these in person. Like it's really nice to be able to roll these in person. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's only 15 of them currently that exist. So really like me and one friend get to roll them in person. There's going to be a lot more. So, I'm going to spend those 2 spiral to make more of them. You notice well ahead of time, as you are driving through this haze, and you have a gas mask on, is that right?
No, Isaac has a gas mask on because we do have numerous gas masks, but they're all in the back. It's just like a funny, like kitschy thing for when he's cooking if it gets really smoky. Like we don't really have a vent. Like we do have a pop top. Like you can get up and pop the top open if it gets real bad. But we just put on gas masks and keep on cooking. Like the crowd loves it.
You first are like, well, what's that?
I'll say 1 part barbecue, 1 part restaurant, 1 part doomsday prepper.
That's right.
It does seem to be well equipped for doomsday, to be fair, and that's apt. So immediately, like you notice that the air conditioning system is not fully sequestering the air because you start to get the character of the air outside, and it is a taste that you may have kind of tasted in the air in your time in the service. It tastes like rust. And then so that makes you start slowing way down. And then you notice ahead of you that there's something moving in the haze, and it's a big bug. And it is kind of skittering around, and like as you're slowing down and you're driving through this, you're like, wait a second, there are like no cars on this street. And you see 1 car ahead, and you see this bug come out of the haze. And then it just sort of gets up close to the car, and one of its little long antenna, it's like a big cockroach basically, touches the car, and the car just starts to dissolve into this haze. And then it its antenna kind of wave in the air, and it clearly they point towards your van, which is now you've slowed down really far away from it at this point.
Right.
But it starts to move towards you. And then you notice that there are a few more farther beyond shapes moving. What do you do?
That one got a big boot.
Isaac, you may want to pop the pop top there and grab one of the guns.
He's gonna do just that. He's gonna pop the top there and pull out say like a 308 or something.
Okay. All right. You're gonna try and shoot this thing that is approaching you.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of rolls for this though. This will be interesting.
And what are you doing as the driver? Are you just staying put? Are you backing up? Or are you?
I have turned off the headlights. I haven't killed the engine, but I think it's on low, like a low idle right now. I am driving in like sneaky mode, and I am like inching forward, trying to feel out if I need to gun it against this thing or not.
Okay. Yeah. So
I'm driving sneaky.
driving sneaky. Isaac, you grab a gun, you climb up top. I guess you can like pop the emergency hatch type thing on this thing, right?
That's
Climb
all
up
it
to
is.
the top.
Like this is really probably
Yeah.
like an old bus that's been kitted out to look more like a military vehicle. And like it's our Venta hood, but really it's just like, yeah, when the smoke gets too bad, we pop this thing open. But it is easily designed to like for us to be able to park this somewhere out on the property, out of the lodge, and just like sit on top of. So it's
Okay.
designed for this to be able to be a thing that he can do.
Well, go ahead and take a shot at this thing. I think at this point, I'll call it a target 3.
Okay. I don't have a lot for this one, unfortunately. I get the 1 die, obviously. I don't feel like I could bring in Salot Fighter unless you want to say I have some history of like bows, which doesn't really equate, but and then
I'll give you a partial on it for the
Okay.
coordination that it brings. So
And
that's
then-
2 dice total.
would I be able to add intuitive to this? Just kind of like intuitively know where to shoot the giant cockroach? What it looks like to my character, anyway.
Yes, but we're gonna define in that is kind of what it means. Is like a combat intuition or like a kinetic intuition.
Because qualities can mean a lot of things, right? But once you define it a certain way in play, that's how it works.
Yeah. I learned this with crafty in playtesting because somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm crafty, so I can build a thing, and I'm crafty, so I can deceive this person." And I'm like, seems like a lot of.
Tell
so
that person they should go
gotta
pick up a copy of Beards and Beyond because that's how we use skills in that system. However, that's a different game, and so.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that is 3 dice. Go ahead and roll it against the target 3, unless you want to add luck.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and burn a luck just because guns are not his like he can shoot a gun, but they're not his specialty. So I'm gonna go ahead and burn a luck, bring me down to 1. Go ahead and roll the 4 die. Let's see what we get. Okay, not bad, not great, but not bad. 3 spares, a hit, and a spiral. Excuse me.
I think. Have you successfully rolled tonight? Some nights. Also, I think that Tony is actually siphoning.
I am siphoning all the good
hits.
rolls off for people. Oh, you need 3.
so
Tony needs 3. He'll take 7. It's fine. Dean can have a flat roll of 0 in the future, so it's totally fine.
So what do you want to spend your spare on? Essentially, you shoot and you're gonna miss. And this thing continues advancing towards the food truck.
Let me see what my options are here.
There is you see a way out or forward.
Yeah, I think that would be the good way to do that to get us out of this particular situation, because I think losing your car would be a bad thing. So I'm going to go ahead and say you see a way out forward.
Absolutely. So you pop out, you take the shot. You may unload the however many rounds are in that 308. If it's a single shot or whatever, and you just miss every single one through the haze. But while you're up top, you see that actually there's an alley. If you just back up a little bit and go right, you could actually like cut through, and it looks like it's also free of cars and doesn't have any of these bug things in it. What do you do?
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to drop down and go, Thaddeus, go that way. And I'll point in the direction that you had indicated. I'll get us out of here.
And
You go?
Oh yeah, I sneaky my way down that alley.
Okay. We don't need to roll for this. As long as you're backing up and running away, you get away from the things, and you head down this alley and out into the street next to it. Let's see. Should we break it? No, we'll do one more thing, and then we'll take our break. So you proceed farther, making your way like among the cars, but you get to a point where basically the food truck cannot advance. Like, you get to a point where the road is blocked with cars. The road next to it is blocked with cars. There is no way forward in the food truck. What do you do?
All right.
We just set up shop
parked.
again. We live here now.
All right, well, remember where we're parked.
Like 100%. I like walk around. I lock stuff down. Like, yeah. I mean, like we secure everything properly. There's way more care that goes into parking this food truck, and I even think there's like a camo net, like a surveillance net that gets pulled out over the top of it that does not help at all in the city, but it's 100% what we do. And then I'll grab my pack out of the back. What's in my pack? Who knows? We'll find out as we go along.
Some military stuff.
All my stuff, yeah.
Or hunting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I look at both Isaac and Tony, what's your character's name again?
Thaddeus T. Trapper.
Thaddeus T. Trapper. I think I look at them and say, hey, I've only got 8 shirts left for this t-shirt cannon. Do one of you have an extra piece I can have? Is that what they call it? A piece?
I got a little something special I've been cooking up just for you. And I hit the a hidden compartment next to the fry station, and it pops down and there's a potato gun inside, but the kind that and a couple bottles of spray accelerant, and a sack of a 5-pound sack of potatoes that I've got in there that have just been waiting for you to express interest in something more powerful than a thing. So I don't know how many come in a 10-pound sack of potatoes, but that's what you've got. So 10 or 15 potato shots probably.
So I grab the sack of potatoes, throw it over my shoulder, and I grab the potato gun and say, lock and load.
You got the t-shirt gun in one hand.
Potato gun
and a potato gun in the other hand.
You've also got the I don't know if you saw the eye patch on.
The eye patch on, yeah.
Watch out, John Wick.
Yeah, so you disembark.
I am going to grab that last bear trap also too and put it on the back of my back.
That's quite the loadout. But I'll allow it. It's NYC&D after all. And you proceed now. Basically, you get out, you lock it up, and now you're having to move kind of over cars, between cars. There's headlights that are on, and some of them the doors are open. Mostly, it's depopulated, and people have perhaps taken shelter in buildings. But in front of you, as you are headed further south, almost at Midtown, you see amongst a bunch of overturned cars, an overturned Tyson chicken truck. It's one of those big refrigerated trucks. And it's kind of it's fully spanning the road. So you'll have to kind of squeeze around it on either side to get through, and you can't really see what's beyond it. What are you doing?
I just take off my hat for a moment and just think about the waste of perfectly good chicken that we could have been cooking up. I prefer it when I kill it, but just the waste of meat itself. We just take a moment and pause and At least I do.
Takes off the hat.
Take a moment of silence. Put the hat on your chest as you.
And probably try to make it over the cab because that seems like it'd be the easiest part to get over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you all have your stuff squeezing, like getting over the cab, which has slammed into the front of a store. Windows are shattered, glass all around. You slide over the top. Who's going over first?
I will probably boost Marty up. So that then we'll hand Marty our gear, and then so the rest of us can scramble over.
All right. Marty, I think that if you're doing the gear thing and you're pulling everybody up and then you're heading over, first person to slide down is going to see this, and I think that's Marty. So Marty, you hit the ground on the other side of the cab. The other two of you are on top of the cab, and you look to your right, and basically the top of the trailer has been busted open, potentially by the crash. And there is just a lake of packaged chicken breasts spilling out from beyond it and onto the street behind it, which is not that weird a sight tonight. But sitting in the middle of this lake of packaged chicken breasts and eating them one by one or in big handfuls is a creature that looks kind of like a person but is huge and has a big kind of triangular nose and green skin. It's maybe 9 feet tall standing up, you'd guess. And it's just sort of gobbling these and looks up directly over at you as you hit the ground. Should we take a break now?
Sounds great. We are going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to be back. We're playing Spiral Dice right now. It's the Sapio system using Spiral Dice. More specifically, it's live on Kickstarter. I dropped the link in the chat on Twitch. I'll drop it there just 1 second as we go to break also. But we're just going to take 5 minutes. Let us get up, move around, take care of ourselves, any of our needs. You should also get up, move around, take care of yourselves. If you have any needs, you could do that without permission. But just as a reminder, hydrate. Go to the restroom, stretch a little bit, take care of yourself. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. We'll be right back in just 1 second, but if you are watching right now, just letting you know that tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be playing Necrobiotic. It is a necropunk, for lack of a better term, setting set in future Florence, where the human population has dwindled, but don't worry, we've been able to build automatons out of the dead, and they are helping prop up our society, but we still don't know why humanity is dwindling. If you want to come back at 1 p.m. tomorrow and join us for that stream, we'll be playing with Matt from Penny for a Tale for that one also too. Looking forward to it. It's an upcoming Kickstarter, I think next month, but don't forget right now to go check out the Kickstarter for Spiral Dice if you have not yet. It's an absolutely phenomenal system. We're having a blast playing, and we'll be back in just a couple more minutes.
Yes.
All right, we are back. We are playing Spiral Dice, which is live right now on Kickstarter. We're going to drop the link for that in the chat here on Twitch, but it's down below if you are watching this later on demand on YouTube. Also, too, if you're watching on a different platform, hop on over to Twitch, hit follow, check that out so you know when we go live. We do a lot of giveaways on stream. Also, too, Spiral Dice, it's a cool new system. John, before we hop back in, just kind of tell people a little bit about Sapio and the Spiral Dice system again.
Yeah, sure. So to kind of recap it, it's based on these custom dice. They inject twists, either positive or negative, when you roll them. They're relatively simple. It's only one kind of die. In the future, they're going to be like $10 a pack. The Sapio system is built from the ground up on top of them, and basically you use character elements to determine the number of dice that you're going to roll. And then that combines with the spiral dice, and you get kind of a quick and easy way to make interesting story.
So it's a dice pool system, but with extra mechanics baked onto it, and some really rich narrative options baked in. I'm having a fun time playing. Dean was telling us on the break that he doesn't like fun things, and therefore is having a horrible time. Dean literally just sat back down right before we went live. That is not a true statement. Dean enjoys fun as much as the rest of real human beings, just like he is. And so, John, take us back in now that I've insulted Dean horribly.
Yeah, that's right. So where the players are at this point, you have all just you've come. You managed to get away from the initial scenes of chaos in your food truck. You avoided some rust monsters. They weren't rust monsters. I don't even know if I can say that on stream. But then you eventually had to disembark your food truck because you ran into kind of a lot of cars that had been backed up or crashed. You came to an overturned Tyson food truck, and now you were just coming around over the cab. It has kind of crashed into a building, and Marty is the first over the top, hits the ground, and notices that there is a very large humanoid green-skinned entity that is just sitting on a pile of packaged chicken breasts and consuming it, and looks over at him. What do you do?
Watch out! It's one of them Trogers.
I think Marty's instinct is to try to get back up and over the cab where he came from. So he's going to try to do some sort of very like dexterous jump and crawl back up onto the cab.
Oh yeah, give me that check.
All right, so one from already, one for dance instructor, one for kinesthetic control, one for quick reflexes, and I like to use a luck as well.
All right, that's against a target 2.
All right.
Oh, I'm gonna say this. I'm just gonna you probably shouldn't eat the plastic. It's bad for your colon.
All right, so I've got.
And by the way, okay,
go ahead.
Continue. Oh, if anybody wants to help on any roll, it's not just in action sequences. On any roll, feel free to say you're helping, invoke an element, and describe how you're helping. So just if you see an opportunity. But you just succeeded, so you might as well.
4 hits, 2 spares, 3 spirals.
Okay, so a minor bad twist. But yeah, you hit the ground, you look over, this thing starts to look up, and you hop back on top of the cab with your people and manage to get out of sight of this thing. But I think I'm gonna take your potato gun. I think you basically you jump down and the potato gun slides off your shoulder. You jump back up and you don't manage to grab it, and then they pull you back up. But you're behind the cab at this point, and the thing apparently can't see you anymore.
That thing took my potato gun. It took it from me.
Well, I think we can get it back. Do you still have the potatoes?
Yes, you still have the potatoes.
Yes. Yeah, so still, they're attached. Yeah, I still got the potatoes. Thank goodness.
All right. I'm gonna. We're all up on top of the cab. We can all see this Troger now.
You can peer around and see it. Yeah, okay. I think you all basically are just out of sight of it.
So it's on its side. It was flipped away from us, correct? Top's torn off. Chicken is thrown all over the street. This thing's in the middle eating the chicken, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So I'm gonna climb up on the top, which is the side now, right? So I'm gonna go from the cab
of the trailer
to the trailer, so that I can get a better line of sight on this guy, and say, "Good evening, sir. My name is Thaddeus T. Trapper. I hear that you have taken something from one of my compatriots here. It appears that we have interrupted a meal, and as a proprietor of a fine dining establishment, I can fully understand your desire to just eat your meal in peace, and our desire is for you to be able to eat your meal in peace. It's a promise we have at Game On, which is our truck. I mean, it's on the other side back here. You can't see it right now. You don't need to even go over there and bother with it. You've got plenty of food right here. But we would love to get the potato gun back. We would love to keep on going. I don't know if you have ever and I don't mean to sound disrespectful. I don't know if you've ever had a potato before, but if you would like a potato in exchange for safe passage, it is a rare delicacy in these parts, and we would like to offer you one as the ability to get by.
And I'm I'm assuming, are you making a distraction for
Oh no, I'm
Marty to
100%
grab the gun?
trying to interface with this guy and offer him a potato
Oh, okay,
in
great.
exchange for safe passage. I mean,
instead of,
anybody else can be doing whatever they want to be doing. I am doing that is fine. If somebody else wants to take advantage of this, I'm not doing it to help anybody be able to do anything. He said the person took the potato gun. I want the potato gun back, and I want us to be able to get around this guy. That's all I'm trying to achieve.
So I'd like to
Yeah,
use
so-
to give some help with my principal. Where my principal is I want to see you succeed, and so I want to use my ability to say, this man is a veteran, and you will respect what he has to say and listen to him when he speaks.
I
So
think
one of the things is there has to be a cost. So like, how are you doing that? How are you going over the top to do that?
I'm like on the hood of the truck, like in front of him, like just at the very edge of the truck. Like, you will respect him. He's a veteran and sacrificed a lot for this country. And he's like at the very edge of the truck.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and take a luck for that. So the creature gets up as you are talking, and Thaddeus, it looks at you like with eyes that recognize that you are speaking, but not with any understanding and not really with any like basic empathy, right? Like it's a certain look that you know of a
Like
effectively
I have its attention, but it has no idea what I'm saying.
right. You are, and more than that, you're food. Like
Right.
you're not like something to engage with, and so it stands up, and it's big. Its head is like even with the top of the trailer, where you currently are, and it starts to advance on you. And actually, it starts to advance on Marty, because Marty has climbed up next to you and is like giving you the extra boost.
Dang it, Marty, this is why we stay in our lane. I deal with customers after you get them to us, and I guess I can't complain because you are getting them to us. But you're supposed to just leave it to me.
I feel like I have to live up to my character's worst impulse, which is quick to judge. In this case, the quick to judge is to throw a fucking knife at him.
At the creature?
Yeah, at the creature.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you're throwing it, and the intent is to do what to this thing? Like just hurt it?
Yeah, hopefully just scared off to get away from them because it looks like it's violently approaching his friend and nephew.
Okay. Yeah, roll that check.
Okay, so
it is a target 2 from where you are.
Okay, so I can invoke the one, obviously, my profession, my specialization, and my quality of strong. And then
it's a long throw. Yep.
And when you fix a situation by indulging your worst impulse, I get an additional one, right?
Oh yeah, I think that that qualifies.
By the way, anybody out there?
Because I wouldn't say that you're fixing the situation. What's that?
I was going to say, anybody out there who's watching right now, if you're watching us on Twitch, I'm going to drop the rules, a link to the rules in the chat. You can go check them out right now for the system we're playing. And if you're curious how we built our characters, anything else like that, there's a link right there to what we're doing too.
Let's see. I got 2, 4, 3, 6 hits and 3 spirals.
Great. So it you whip a knife at it. You can hit it anywhere you want. Where do you want to hit it?
Let's say forehead.
Okay. The knife hits it in the forehead. So, it's talking, it's like looking at you, talking to it, Marty, and Isaac just wings a knife at it, and it goes right into the creature's forehead. The creature like stumbles and kind of like is looking around and swipes a long arm out. Marty, you are going to take a minor injury because you are knocked off of the back of the trailer. Basically, he hits the trailer and sort of clips you a little bit, and you get tumbled back over the trailer and onto the ground. So take a minor injury of winded.
Ah.
It's stumbling around and looking for who threw a knife at it, but at the same time, it was a really impressive hit, and it's spurting blood out of its head, and stumbling around, and I guess now slipping on the chicken. What is everybody else doing?
Isaac, I've told you over and over again, when I'm dealing with a customer, you've got to leave it to me. I mean, I guess it's your job to cut into meat, and I guess that's what you were doing, but still, that is not your responsibility. This was a customer-facing problem. Need you to leave it to me in the future, please.
Duly noted. Nothing looked like about to chomp on you. Figured it might be bad.
It's grabbing around behind it, and it's looking it grabs a car.
Is it
and
still,
sort of starts to pick.
Is it still in range of the truck? Is it still right
no,
there?
it has stumbled back away from the truck. Yeah. But it's going to pick things up, and at first it tries to pick up a car, and the car's too heavy, and so it's sort of searching around for something to pick up. What are you all doing?
Shot.
Is it 5 to 10 yards away?
Yeah, I'd say it's 15 yards away.
Okay, well then I'm not going to shoot it with a shotgun. It would hurt it, but it would only hurt it. I think I'm going to make my way down, which,
okay,
depending on what this pile of chicken below looks like, I think the easiest way, given the size and dimensions of the truck, is probably just to hang over the edge and drop into the pile of chicken.
Oh yeah. And what is your full intent with this? You're gonna drop into the chicken. Is the idea to approach it and shoot it?
My idea is probably first and foremost, actually, right now, to get down and make sure that, contrary to normal behavior, is actually to get down and make sure that Marty is not hurt or unconscious, because he went over the edge. I don't know what happened to him, so I'm going down to check.
Sorry, he went over the back edge.
Oh, the back edge. Oh, then never mind. Screw him. He can catch up in a second. Yeah. And so, no, yeah, my goal eventually is to get closer to him, but I am going. I'm trying to do so quietly, not loudly.
That's
okay.
Foul.
Yeah. Give me your sneaky drop then.
This is kind of like stalking your prey, right?
Oh yeah.
Great, because otherwise I was going to say it's a customer service issue. So I've got one for the. I've got it's Hunter. I don't think this is trapping specifically. And then we've got sneaky. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that I'm going to be rolling.
This is a target. This is a target 1, I think. It's distracted.
Yeah, it's got a knife in its brain, and I've got to sneak up on it. So roll them beautiful bean footage. I've got 3 hits with 2 spirals and a spare.
Okay, so one net spiral. Gotcha. And you can feel free to net them before you.
Okay, so I just net the whole thing. That's it. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you drop into the chicken with a very quiet slurp.
I hate that.
It's foul.
Do it again.
It does, you realize that many of these packages are open, and the thing doesn't hear you, but you are you realize you're in a lot of chicken goo, which maybe you don't care about so much, but
I don't care about the fact that I'm in the goo. I do care about the fact that this chicken has been wasted, and now it's been at least 4 hours since this thing flipped over, because that's the only time I do it here. And it's certainly out of temp, and I don't care about certification, but I do care about proper food handling technique, and I do care that this chicken is spoiled now.
Yeah, so it turns around and chucks a motorcycle. So it like its hand finds a motorcycle and it turns and wings it at exactly where the two of you just were, and it sort of bounces off the top of the truck, and it flies over your head, Marty, and then careens into the street beyond, smacking into a car, and maybe there's a nice little explosion.
Yeah, that was
It
close.
like when it turns back around towards you, it's clearly got blood like all over its face, which it's trying to wipe out of its eyes. And it's advancing on where you are, Thaddeus, but it doesn't look like it notices that you're there. Between the two of you, what are you both doing? This might be a roll with help for you to do whatever it is you're about to do. We'll see.
Never. I'm gonna be slowly. I'm slooping my way. Can I see the potato gun on the ground nearby?
So the potato gun was over by the cab,
Right.
where you had climbed over. So you could crawl over towards the potato
I'm making
gun,
my
or
way
sort of
that
sneak
direction.
over.
I've got the customer complaint department pointed at the creature as I'm slowly making my way, sloop that direction.
That happens to be where Isaac is as well.
Okay.
So Isaac is like on the cab up in that direction.
Right. And so,
And Isaac, what are you doing?
I can roll to assist him, right? In this case.
Well, if you're doing something that helps. Yeah, right now he's just sneaking away. Yeah. So what do you want to do?
That.
What is your ultimate plan here?
To get the creature like away from him, like if I can distract him in some way, like maybe like grabbing some material and like chuck it to make noise, since it looks like it's a bit blinded from the blood.
Yeah, absolutely. That is. Why don't you roll to like both be sneaky and get it away from you? And I'll have. I think that's Isaac rolling as focal. So your goal is to toss something real far and get it to be distracted.
Okay. I get the one, obviously, and then I guess I can invoke strong since I'm throwing it. And would I get the partial from my slot fighter profession? Or just
go ahead and take that partial for throwing things.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Since I am, I think that's all I can add to that.
Target 2.
All right.
You got this.
And what are you throwing? What do you want to throw? What do you want to have be available?
Is there any like shrapnel or like something solid, like a piece of metal I can throw?
Yep, you can find that.
All right, let's go and do that. I'm just
Target
trying
2.
to get him. Yeah, get him away from Thaddeus there. Oh, hey, that's actually not bad. 3 hits, 2 spares, and a spiral.
Great. Minor bonus. What do you want? Basically, you wing a relatively flat piece of metal far off in the distance. Clang! It hits, and the creature kind of looks around and actually, like, backs up from both you and the sound, and then like skirts the wall of the building, like storefronts, until it finds a way to go like in and away, and then it disappears.
So you're gonna make us feel bad for this thing.
Well, you got it pretty hard with that first roll, and I feel like it's kind of on the run at this point. You have successfully chased it away from its chicken cache.
You solved your Troger
and
puzzle.
are now in the clear.
Marty? Marty,
Yeah.
you okay back there?
Yeah, I'm fine. My suit looks pretty messed up. Lily's gonna have to get me a new one when we get back home, but otherwise, I'm okay.
Not if we tell the commander what you said.
You wouldn't dare.
I don't know.
Please don't do that.
I'm gonna do it.
Well, come on, hustle on over here.
All right, so I do that. I hustle back around to the rest of the group.
All right, yeah.
Dean, did your
You're
character
now in the clear.
did your character have another knife?
I'm going to say that he would have a few knives. I don't know what few would be in this case, but I feel like he'd have a few when he was as a chef.
Okay. Oh, you've got like your chef's knife kit.
Yeah, I got like a kit kind of thing. Maybe like on on the apron, there's like a few knives belted on it.
Plus a few fighting knives just for good.
Of course, we're in New York. We're gonna
Insane.
got a couple salad dice ready.
Yeah. Cool. Just want to make sure. I guess we're gonna keep on making our way to towards the. Aaron, do you remember what street you said she was at?
42nd and Lexington, I'm pretty sure.
You said a 40-something in Lexington. I just couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah. So by my calculations, if we were up near Washington Heights, that's only 65 blocks away.
We've made it a few blocks since then. So I know that when people are playing these games, Marty, lots of times they can cast like magic spells. Like, you ever done anything like that?
No, I typically am more of just a non-magic user when I'm playing these games. You know, I'm more of like I'm usually like a barbarian or something. So I mean, as you can tell by looking at me, usually I strength my way out of things. But maybe we should call Lily and see. Maybe she can come to us.
I'm just trying to figure out. I know you level up, you get spells and stuff. I'm just trying to figure out how that works.
Yeah,
you're like, we got these Trogers, we got these dragons. We found a path, which I think is an important part of that game, right? And so
you number one,
we had this conversation as
if you would like. Yeah, if you would like to try to call Lily, you quickly discover that you have no service. So sort of out for the moment. But actually, as you were walking and talking about like magic spells, you see that one of the trash cans on one of the corners is just like, oh, by the way, I didn't even share my screen. Why don't I do this? Why don't we take like a walk through memory lane? Let me, can I present a tab?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh, but it conveniently put them out of order. So there's this guy.
Look,
that Jack
Marty,
drew
look,
for
it's
us.
you.
And then he illustrated.
This is new art for the game you got just like today, right?
Yeah. This.
Oh, look, Marty, it's you again.
When did he remove my legs from me? I don't remember that.
We put him back on. You're fine now.
Put you a soldier suture there. Nothing to worry about.
And then I think, he took creative liberties with this guy, but there's his troll.
Oh man!
So
we made that guy scared and we made him run away.
De Blasio is gonna be so mad about that stoplight.
But yeah, so one of these trash cans that is on a corner is just like overflowing with its coins. Like there's just like coins kind of over topping it. And like there's like jewelry and like some velvet pouches sitting among the coins, like spilling out onto the ground next to it. There's clearly like bottles of things like nestled among the coins as well.
All right, here's what we gotta be careful of. All right, one time in one of these games, I heard one of the guys talking when I was on deployment about how sometimes the treasures are fake and they're really a monster that bites you. So
yeah, I saw this in the video game one time. They call it like a mimic or something.
So Marty, go get that coin.
All right, done.
No, Marty, no. Lily will kill me. Lily will kill me.
So
you are not going to get the coins?
Oh no, we're totally gonna go get the coins. We're just gonna we're gonna we're gonna whip a bottle at him real quick.
I mean, it's New York. Just find one and throw it.
Yeah, we're gonna whip a bottle at it, poke it with the harpoon on the edge of the customer complaint.
That's right.
And so
OSR style.
That's
to
right.
The,
yeah, get my 10-foot pole out, pour a vial of water over the top to see which way the gravity draws the water, and then follow it to the X. No, I don't know. Yeah, we thoroughly mess around with it in advance, and so
Okay. Yeah. So first you wing a bottle at it, and then like it doesn't move. I mean, besides like coins like
Right.
flying out, and then one of the bottles that's on top rolls off and shatters. And then you approach it. Who is approaching it?
Oh, I'm approaching it. Like I've got the harpoon out in front on the complaint department. Ready? I'm gonna
give me your
give it a stick.
Notice stuff roll.
My what? My notice stuff
Your
roll?
notice stuff roll. Yeah.
I think we defined earlier that my notice stuff roll is 4. Let me look at my character sheet and just double check that. We said yes, hunting would work. Add for that.
Yep. But not trapping.
Not trapping. And then
you can definitely add inventive here because you're trying a bunch of stuff.
Okay, so inventive would be so that'd be for here's my question.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say, would everything has a purpose matter here or not? Like I don't want to leave this treasure behind. Like
yeah. I think that this is actually a great example. You are sure there could be danger, but you don't want to leave the treasure behind.
Like
so
treasure in the middle of the street matters. Everything has a purpose. Treasure in the middle of the street matters. All right, cool. So I don't know that I've been tracking luck at all. So.
This is against a target 4.
Okay. So we're gonna roll for. I'm gonna go ahead. I guess I'll go ahead and add a dice if I want to spend a luck to add a dice. I can do that, right? Is that the way it works?
That's right.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and add a dice for that. So. Oh well, I got 3, but I got a net 1, 2, 3, 4. I got a net 5 spares.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, you're gonna have to figure out how to use those because here's what happens. You get the harpoon out to poke it like from a safe distance, and you start advancing on it, and you step. You get around a car, and you take a few steps towards it, and then it becomes hard to take the next step because you feel like you're like stuck in deep woods mud or something like that, and you look down at your boots. Are they like? Do you wear like combat boots?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So your combat boots, there's like this gray kind of putty on the ground that's really, it's like a big pool, like the size of a big puddle. And it's kind of like you're stuck in it with one foot and it's starting to creep up ever so slowly, your combat boot.
Gents, how I told you they talk about those mimics in those games? They have traps in those games also too. And I think that might be the situation we're dealing with here. You say I made my way around a car just a second ago?
Yep.
I'm just going to hop back up.
What would you like to spend? What would you like to spend your spare
yeah, that's
on?
right. So I got these options at the bottom of the sheet of paper, right, to look at that are helpful. You see way forward, you find a useful but strange item. Draw attention, give an ally. You take advantage of a bit of attention. Another threat emerges, distracting the original threat. Threat runs into a modern problem. Damage to your surroundings gives you an opportunity. An ally shows up to help. I feel like in this situation, and how they each cost one thing.
Basically, like because you got a bunch, you're gonna pick one thing, but it can be a pretty big thing in this situation.
I will go with. Find a useful but strange item seems to be the most natural given the mode that we're in the game right now.
Okay. So say you wanted like a magic item. What would it be?
Magic shotgun.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think if we're going with classic D&D items that do not include guns, I do think some sort of I do think some sort of crossbow would probably make the most sense given the character conceit and everything else. Potentially in this situation, if it's going to be useful, maybe it has a grappling attachment on it also too.
A crossbow of grappling, absolutely. So like you step past this car, and your boot gets stuck. And I don't. Once your boot's stuck, are you trying to move out or forward, or what are you doing?
I think his first impulse would be to actually sit, like he just passed a car, would be to like try to step up on that bumper and pull his foot out, like
Yeah,
to
great.
get
So
off the ground.
you step up on the bumper, and the windshield of the car is shattered, and sitting on the dash is like this like ornate dark wood silver like inlaid crossbow that's sort of like it's got like a grappling hook on the end and like a coil of rope, and it just has like a feeling, like a good feeling to it, like it seems to hum at you.
Hey, we just got rated by the guys over at Fresh Out the Box. Johananon just and the crew over there just said us, hey guys, we are playing Spiral Dice using the Sapio system. It is a narrative forward, cool dice mechanic. If you like the Genesis dice system that powers like Star Wars and other stuff like that, but want something that's more narratively flexible and a little bit more open source, this is going to be your jam. But we love the folks over at Fresh Out the Box. We auto host them whenever they're playing stuff, and I think they were starting a new campaign over on their channel tonight. But thanks for joining us, y'all. We love it.
Hi, welcome.
Yeah. If you want to check it out, I'll drop a link for you. I also just found, I think maybe my first magic item that I've ever gotten in a thing on stream. I got a crossbow of grappling, but we're playing modern food truck, militant food truck people who the New York City's been taken over by Dungeons and Dragons like creatures, and we're trying to find our way out. We're a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll. Cool. I grab it. I say, hey guys, found something. And maybe
you're also stuck. I don't know if you want to note that or not.
I'm stuck, but I do have a cool magic item now.
Yeah.
As if it's still coming up, he's not going to hesitate to drop that drop out of his boot. Like, I mean, he'll let that boot go.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, as you go to untie it, it starts to sizzle. And like you can see the bottom of it is like deforming and sort of dropping
when that
into
happens,
this putty.
I don't even untie. I just cut the laces. And
okay.
Pull my foot out. Yeah. And so
you hop onto the bumper of the car. What's everybody else doing?
Better to lose a shoe than lose a foot. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't want to come over here.
I don't know. It was crossbow season.
Sir, it's you know what we say out on the range. It's always crossbow season.
Fair enough. We should avoid that. We should avoid the chest with the gold and a phrase I never thought I'd say in my life. But we should avoid the gold over there.
Well, maybe is the trash can affixed to the ground? Like, is it planted on the ground, or is it like a movable trash can?
So what you actually see if you investigate it, like now that you've kind of gotten a lay of the land and you've been poking this thing and you try to approach it, is that putty pool is in the street surrounding this corner, but is not up on the corner, and the trash can is up on the corner. So the way you approached it, you basically came like through the street. But if you went around to the sidewalk, you could actually get to the trash can, and it is affixed to the ground with some pretty darn heavy bolts.
The GM who just tried to kill me, he said that I can see that if you, I'm just kidding. It looks like if you go up on the sidewalk, you should be fine. Just don't come this way. Also, we should keep an eye out for a shoe store. Just FYI.
All right, I think I'm gonna go over and go up on the sidewalk and go around and try to sneak over to that loot.
Okay, yeah, you can all at this point the ooze is moving slow enough that you can grab the loot and fill your pockets with as many heavy coins as you want. There are
let's go ahead and calculate
bottles.
Encumbrance now, guys.
Is encumbrance, yeah.
Time for encumbrance. Velvet pouches full of yet more coins and jewelry. There's a little tiny painting with like a gold rimmed frame, and it is a painting of just like a woman and her child in old timey clothes.
I take that.
and there's a bunch of silk. I'm trying to do random
loot
Random.
generation.
I'll go grab the silk. I got a blanket in mine I can do with this.
Johanan just backed it also too. Also, if you are looking for another channel to play on before the end of the stream, you should talk to the guys at Fresh Out the Box. They are phenomenally fun to play with. Gary and Johanan will come out and play on a fairly regular basis with us. So they couldn't tonight because they're streaming. Silk, man, that sounds real luxurious.
Nice.
Marty, haven't you always wanted a full silk suit? Weren't you working to upgrade to that eventually?
I mean, I didn't want to say anything, but yeah, it's all I've ever wanted.
Why don't you go ahead and take this silk?
It's super nice silk.
Gosh, thank you, Thaddeus. When I wear it, I'm going to think of you.
I mean, that
Please
seems a
don't
little
say
weird,
that.
but I appreciate the sentiment.
I'm just gonna hold the goal like I can get such a nice custom-made chef set with this.
It's all you ever wanted. Yeah.
It's a custom-made chef set.
You can proceed forward. I'm gonna keep things moving in the interest of getting to the end.
Wait,
of this
you don't
one
want us
shot.
to just talk about silk suits and shoe stores for the
Yeah.
entire day? It's not. Yeah. So we'll keep on moving. I'm going to keep an eye out for a shoe store.
Okay.
And there's a
And actually,
Woolworths.
I will definitely you can find a shoe store and pop in and grab some sneakers or boots, really whatever you want. I don't think you can get. Yeah, you could get some combat-esque. They're not real combat boots. They're consumer combat boots.
Yeah, I'll just go for
so
I'll
they'd
just
be
go for the
below.
I'll just go for the docs. You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay, yeah, get
Doc
some.
Martin,
Yeah,
reach
some
out
nice
if you want to
docs.
sponsor the stream. And I don't know what the conversion rate is, so I'm just gonna leave 4 gold coins on the countertop, which is way more than these shoes are worth. But let it be known that Thaddeus T. Trapper III does not steal, even in the middle of a world-ending event where Dungeons and/or Dragons have taken over New York City.
So you come out of the store. You keep it. You're not that far from Don Pepe's now, and you see it's a dog park with a little kids playground. It's one of those mid city, just little cutouts that barely exist between roads, and literally standing in the middle of that dog park, just sort of in the dog park fence, kind of just looking around, is, well, I have art for it. One of these guys.
Yo,
It's a horse with a horn.
it's a Pegasus. That's what them's is called.
And actually, when you say that, you're really far away at this point. You're 150 feet or something like that. It just looks over and locks eyes with you.
God, it's tired of
And
being
you
called a
hear-
Pegasus. It's more pissed off now than it's ever been before.
You hear inside your head, "Adventurer, approach." What do you do? It also is there's little sparkles around it. It seems to have a little gentle glow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Could just,
Remember the putty. I think we're the adventurers.
Yeah. My
Awesome.
hand is on the t-shirt cannon behind my back, ready to just rip some wet t-shirts at this thing.
Are you? But you're going towards it.
Yeah, we're going towards it.
Yeah.
Remember the
Okay,
putty. I'm keeping an eye on the ground and the head, making sure that it's okay.
It as you are approaching, it is narrating this to you, and it says, "Heroes, I sense that you are on a noble quest. There has been a dangerous convergence of our realms, and I need your assistance."
All right. So in the games, I never played one because they're nerdy, but I heard lots of stories. And lots of times there's a quest you got to go on to fix everything, and that's kind of the soul. And someone will give you that quest. I think that's what's happening right now.
I don't see an exclamation point where it's head though.
There are
What do we got to do? Matt, your unicornness, Pegasusness.
yes. There are many planar anchors that have joined our realms. You are headed to a place that has one. I need your assistance in destroying it. Take this item. And it like looks and like you didn't notice it before, but wedged into a like a park bench is a big, it's a like a battle axe. And then like before you even get to the unicorn, it sort of like trots around a little bit in the dog park and then hops the fence and like hops over cars and runs off.
Wait, you didn't tell us anything
Oh.
about the anchors.
And like when you enter the sort of like lingering aura that it left behind, you feel your wounds knit.
Yay!
Your back feels better. Your arm feels better. And you are
The chicken
in-
goes off of me.
the chicken goop slides off, and you feel dry.
Truly a miracle.
And there is this battle axe in the park bench in an otherwise empty park. What do you do?
Well,
Dibs.
Hardly need a weapon.
Dibs.
All right.
you do like, you said you like to be one of them barbarians, right? Don't they use axes?
Oh my gosh. I touch it and I feel so powerful.
Yeah, you're gonna pull it from the bench. It is
Yes.
wedged in the bench, so you're gonna have to like pull it out, sword in the stone style.
So you're like, watch and
Excellent.
learn.
Are you the chosen one?
Yes. So I grab it and I'm going to rip it out.
You pull it out, and like as soon as it comes out, it starts like glowing around the top, like a shimmering. It's bright with a little bit of rainbow halo around the outside, and you feel good holding it. Like you feel like you could swing this thing pretty hard at something. So that's your park experience. Unless you all want to talk about anything, I'm gonna keep moving you southward.
No, that's fine. We talk about like, we try to get him to do a couple cool moves with the axe, just to show us what he can do with it. But
Pull out my smartphone, take a few pictures.
Yeah, do a couple for the gram.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Unicorn gave me this. No big deal.
got this actual magic unicorn. Hashtag divine. Hashtag death.
on a Pegasus quest, what's your night been like?
Hashtag brony.
Time for a weird flex. Hashtag unicorn axe.
There actually, I will tell you later, but there is a meme trope among my friends that I am a killer of Pegasi, but that's a separate thing, and we won't get into that right now. So anyway, you proceed south, and now you are within viewing distance of Don Pepe's, and like what you see is that outside of Don Pepe's restaurant, which is really just like flat, like it's next to a bunch of other places. It's got that big storefront, or that big like window with like the ornate calligraphy of Don Pepe's on it in like white and gold, and then like the red velvet, like back of seats and like curtain at the top. And like surrounding it, there is chain link fence that looks like it has been rolled out, and sort of like cars have been moved around, and clearly like a perimeter has been established.
Classic commander, always knows what to do in these types of situations, always knows how to lock a building down.
No, she brought it. I didn't know she brought the deployable chain link fence with her either.
No, she probably just scoped it on the way in and remember where it was when everything went down.
This is so Lily. This is so her.
What are you all doing?
We're kind of I mean, I guess I'd be looking for if there is. It's harder for me to drop out of that character voice than I would expect. I am looking for. Because I assume this is Lily. I'm going to assume that there's somebody posted on Lookout. So I am looking for the person who is in charge out here on the gate.
There appears to be nobody outside. But when you look up, this is like a 6-story building, and hanging off the top of the top story, there is an air conditioner that's like held on like a rope, and there is like a microwave and a dishwasher, and they are all just sort of like dangling above the storefront to Dom Pepe's.
That woman
you can't
knows
see
exactly
anybody
what
up
she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. I taught. See that knot right there? I taught her that.
You taught your commanding officer something.
Well, I mean, I come from a long line of trappers. I mean, you know, like a good commanding officer knows they're not perfect at everything.
Oh.
Gotcha.
So you got dangling home appliances. The storefront is there. The storefront appears to have an unshattered window. And basically there is this chain link perimeter that you'll have to hop if you want to get to it.
Yeah. I want to know how to feel like giving my character's background. I want to know how to get around the trap without setting the trap off.
Okay. Yes. I think essentially you can see where, if they are going to drop, you can see where they're going to drop. And so you can either, get to the point where they're going to drop and then speed up and go in, or you can get to the point where they're going to drop and then back up and let them explode in front of you and just protect yourself.
But there's not a trigger. So I'm assuming these are manually dropped.
It looks like there does not appear to be a tripwire or anything like that rigged up to them.
I'm going to get close to them and just go like this then. Lily, this is Thaddeus T. Trapper, the third proprietor of Game On Food Truck. You might remember me as Sergeant Thaddeus Trapper. I am here with Marty and with Isaac. We did have to leave the truck a little ways back, bivouacked. We'll be able to get it. It's in a secure location. Do not worry. We would like to come in. We would like to not be having those heavy items dropped on us. I do deeply appreciate the work that you've done here, and we are just here to support you. Over and out.
You hear just like off from the top of that roof, they're kind of like talking noises. Kind of seems like there's at least 2 somethings up there talking. And then you see the top of a head with pointy, long ears, bald head. Looks like the skin is like, not in the white through brown tones that you are used to. Might be like grayish or greenish. And maybe looks, I'd say, yeah, that's about what you get. But like head pops over and looks down at you from between the appliances and then disappears back back onto the roof.
Sir, if the commander is in there, you should go ahead and let them out. Otherwise, you are in for a world of pain. By the way, my name is Thaddeus T. Trapper III. I assumed that the commander was here. Obviously, something has gone awry. You do not seem to be the commander. I am the owner and proprietor of Game On Food Truck, mostly a field hunter, semi-retired. These are my associates, and you need to hand over the commander to us, or not to be too untoward, I will either do one of two things: end you or trade you a potato. Those are your options.
A cement block comes over the top. Please give me a roll to get out of the way before it hits your location.
Let's see. I don't feel like hunting has anything to do with dodging. Let's see. What do I got here? I got one.
Got battle hardened.
I got battle hardened for sure.
That's 2.
I do feel like
I'll give you 1 die for hunter for a partial for like reflex, like trigger finger reflexes.
Okay. So that's what's that 3 we're at now?
3 total against a target 3, and I'll tell you that's not good odds.
Right. No, I can do. I mean, the way I've been rolling, it's fine. But generally, yes. Stack things
You'll get 5 hits.
Yeah. I would like to know if I'm trying to decide if I think my worst impulse is playing into this situation. I guess we'll have to. Because I am standing my ground and go ahead and reintroduce myself and like have stayed in my mode of customer engagement rather than flexing out to a different thing. And I am respecting the fact that this is their
That's
area
true.
of
That's a good
control.
point.
And so
then I will toss a luck to somebody else for you doing that.
Okay.
Because I believe you have made trouble because of it, not necessarily fix the situation.
Correct. Yeah. So I guess I'll still roll. I guess I have 2 luck still. So I'm gonna go ahead and add 2 luck.
Okay. That's 5 against a target 3.
You know how I had all those hits earlier in the night? I do have nothing but spares. 1, 2,
that's
3,
good.
4, 5, 6 of them. But I have nothing else at all. All spares all the way down.
Something great is gonna head your way after you get hit in the shoulder with a cement block. Please take dislocated shoulder. Bow.
Not the first time.
You just start to step out of the way. Bam. And that's a moderate injury.
All right.
So the question is, what goes right for you right now? And it can be something pretty big.
Yeah, well, so I guess here's my question. Unless there's a narrative reason for it not to be the case, it does feel like right now, the commander appearing, having an ally arrive and helping out does seem like a good thing. But if you have something else narratively planned, I will pick something else.
No. Let's do it.
Okay.
So basically, the cement block comes over the top, and you get hit, and then you hear like a from the roof, and a thud, and then this creature comes over the side of the roof, sort of like clearly it has been hit, and tumbles all the way down the full 6 stories and bam onto one of the cars, smashing in its hood. Lily looks over the top. Her hands are bound, and she's like, "Come up and get me! Hurry up!"
I looked down at the body. I was like, "You could have had a potato." I was hoping to make a really killer side of potatoes joke when we killed that troll with the potato gun earlier. It didn't happen. I'm gonna say it's my big letdown for the night. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, we'll make our way in. Anybody else have anything else?
Yeah, sounds good.
Definitely.
All right. You open the door to Don Pepe's. The tables have been rearranged in various chest high walls configurations. Everything has been flipped and turned into a chest height little maze. And you can see that like the lighting has kind of been taken down. Like this place has been kind of stripped for stuff. As you make your way in, so like to get upstairs, you would have to go through the kitchen, and the kitchen door opens. Who's in front?
Oh, I have
I'll
a
be
question.
again.
Before that happens, I have a question. Can I try to relocate
Yes.
my shoulder?
Oh, yeah. Let's roll for that.
Here's my thing. I'm also okay. I'm okay with it not even changing the target number difficulty or mechanically. Just essentially that I'm happy to still be in a lot of pain. I just would like to be able to use that arm theoretically. And so I'm not necessarily looking to clear the condition so much as narratively state. I put my arm back in its socket at least somewhat, but I'm happy to roll for it also.
But
I think we need to roll for it.
Okay.
Target 2.
Okay.
What in your experience gives you the?
Yeah, I think probably partial for Hunter, and then
Okay.
one for Battle Hardened.
Yep. Is anybody helping?
I can help, but I can since
Okay.
if you want to spin it martial arts, you have to learn how to pop joints.
Do I want to accept it or refuse it? So, I'll take the help. That's fine. It is significantly easier to pop your shoulder back in when someone else is doing it for you. Yeah, and so
That's right. It's 4 against a target 2.
All right. Too many tabs open. Gotta figure out what I've gotta look at. There we go. It's like that song.
Yes, it's a banger.
Boom.
Yeah,
so just four hits, net 0 on everything else.
Great. Yeah. You can drop that down to a minor injury. It hurts. Isaac kind of steps up and like helps you brace against the wall and pull out, push back in, and it's working.
Crack. Awesome.
Yeah. There's still like a big kind of rectangular bruise mark on it if you look where you got hit with a cement block. I think it's a narrative hit with a cement block because I think a cement block from 6 stories is be pretty bad. Yeah. So shoulder gets popped back in, and then if you're leading, the door to the kitchen opens, and there is like this contraption that is being manned by one of these little gray-green people. That it's kind of like a slingshot that appears to have been made out of some elastic material, like from clothing, wrapped like multiple times. Like it's all like ripped up and wrapped, and it's got like a lever. Like it doesn't look like it should work, but nestled in it is just like a bowl of knives, and the creature just like one of them is opening the door and the other creature just lets it go. Roll to dodge, leader.
All right. So I will start with 1, use my dance instructor, kinesthetic control, quick reflexes. I'm also going to use my last luck as well.
Yeah, do it. This is a target 3.
All right. Okay. 5 hits. I'm sorry, 6 hits, 4 spirals.
So many
4
spirals.
So
much hit.
The door, so you jump out of the way. Thunk, 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 knives hit the wall. Some of them like hit at bad angles, like they weren't going to be dangerous because some of them are just hitting hilt first or like with the blade the wrong direction. But you get out of the way. The rest of the group is kind of off to the side, still popping in Thaddeus's shoulder. The one who was holding the door open, though, comes in through the door as it like swings closed with the other one still manning the catapult, and is holding a, like, not very well because it's pretty big, a shotgun. And it sort of like muscles it up and cocks it and then trains it, or goes to train it on all of you. This is an action sequence. What are you doing?
Yeah. Good night.
Okay. Yeah. Give me that roll.
Okay. So 1 plus. Let me pull up my character sheet here. There we go. My main profession, my specialization, and my quality. So 5. Let's go with 5.
Against a target 3 because it's small.
Okay, 2 hits, 3 spirals, and 2 spares.
So that cancels. Okay, so it shoots that shotgun from far away. Your knife hits the door just above its head, and you get peppered with some buckshot in your leg. Take shot in leg. Moderate injury. It is attempting to advance with the shotgun, which Thaddeus, you know, makes it a more dangerous weapon the closer it gets.
Sure.
And it also, like, you know, there's basically tables and stuff that are overturned, and this thing is not nearly as big as you, and so it has like a significant advantage.
Is it coming out of the kitchen?
Yeah, it's now coming out of the kitchen towards you.
Has it come out of the but it's still in the kitchen behind a thing?
It is now out of the kitchen, I'll
Okay.
say. It has advanced out of the kitchen. I think, you know, either Marty or Thaddeus is focal. What do you want to do?
I will be focal if it's fine with you. So as it comes out of the kitchen, so I was just pressed against the wall getting my thing popped back in.
Yeah.
I've now pulled my shotgun up, and as it comes out of the kitchen, I'm going to shoot it in the side of the head.
Okay. You're advancing and shooting, yeah?
Well, I don't know that I'm advancing, because if it's coming out of the kitchen, I'm out of the kitchen. Like we were like, because we had just pushed, like we had gotten ready to open the door, right? I thought was where we were at.
Oh, okay. I thought you were farther back.
You had us further back in your mind. This is the problem with theater of the mind. I would debate it. You tell us where we were, and I'm fine with that.
No, that works for me.
Okay.
I think, you know, yeah, you're a reasonably close distance at this point because it's advancing anyway.
Yeah. So
is anybody else helping?
So since we were out of the way as the stuff shot out, I assumed we were off to the side, and then as it comes out, I'm just going to shoot.
Okay. Can anybody help?
I can't invoke what I did last time, right? So
correct.
I can't really add anything to this, unfortunately.
I've got the one, I've got 2. This isn't trapping. I would say sneaky might work, but I think battle hardened is actually the more appropriate of them. So I'm already going to be rolling 4. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I'm fine just rolling. Is it target 3? Is that what we have, or what are we at?
I'll say it's target 2 because it's getting closer.
Okay.
Yeah. All of my other skills are all essentially charisma based, so I don't think I can help very much.
You're a total chaw build. I mean, like,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, so here's the thing that charisma people can do in these situations is you can distract it.
It's true.
Okay.
You can help with that pincer.
You barbarian yell, dude, right in its face.
All right. So, my principle is I want to see you succeed. And so if I could make, narratively, do whatever I can to get you closer to the thing, or, I'm just trying to think of how that would look. And not me.
So one of the things is you can't use your principle on somebody else's role, but you do have creative. So
I did.
So, okay. 6 of 1.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So if I look around, like in slow motion, I grab like a bottle off the bar and like roll it like on the ground, like a bowling ball almost to that creature. Maybe it'll slip on it or something like that.
At least make it look at the bottle and try to avoid it. Yeah. Great. Toss in a die.
Got it. Here we go. We've got flat net 4 successes.
You hit, and it's a shotgun, and you're not that far away. Creature gets peppered and like just drops down behind one of the tables, and you hear its shotgun clatter away. You hear the other creature kind of squeak and start running. You don't hear other movement.
I think I'm right in the door, like behind, like trying to basically track what direction it's headed, assuming it's headed more deeply in. And so I want to try to follow it back to where the commander is.
Okay. Yeah, it heads up and away. Like you get into the kitchen. There's nothing else in the kitchen. Are you all going? You all chasing this thing?
Yeah, I'm gonna, because I want to make sure I have enough knives. You get to grab his knife back from the door and then grab a few more out of the wall just in case. And we'll be following.
There's always knives in kitchens. Oh yeah, I guess there's like a bunch stuck in the wall, right, and on the ground.
Yeah.
You're good. Yeah. So you chase this thing up 6 stories, and then like it is, you are just catching up to it as it gets to the door to the roof. And what are you gonna do? Mow it down from behind?
I mean, at this point, I'm gonna try to probably not be being too loud. So if I can run up on it and stab it in the back with my harpoon, that would be my preference.
Okay.
Give me the roll. Yeah, and what are you helping too?
Yeah.
This can be a volley of murder. If you want to try to shoot it with a potato gun at this time, we are headed towards the end of.
We gotta save that potato gun for like the
to...
final victory. Like that's gotta be the crowning achievement.
Shoot a potato gun, have it gun fall off the side of the building.
Shooting potato gun and t-shirt cannon simultaneously. So I would say this is 100%. Feels very hunter. So full hunter. Customer. I sneaky battle hard actually invent like any of mine could work. For this one.
And you're gonna get help if Isaac is throwing a volley alongside you.
So that's another die.
Isaac, you could even throw a knife first to try to slow it down before Thaddeus pounces on it.
Yeah,
but we'll let Thaddeus roll.
You hit it in the leg, I hit it in the back.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Use one of the new knives.
Oh man. It's 2. And it's net nothing.
That is just enough to hit it if you're advancing on it.
Yeah.
So I think what happens is that Isaac throws like the knife, and it like just barely clips its leg in a way that like is like a paper cut. And then Thaddeus, approaches and jumps and manages to get it in the back, but like not deep enough to fully stop it. And then it kind of like opens the door to go out to the roof while you still have the harpoon in it. And it doesn't, it does have another hand. So it opens the door, and then with the other hand, it's reaching for its dagger while it's basically locked up with you, Thaddeus. It's either Isaac or Marty Focal. Marty, it looks like they didn't succeed in taking this thing down. It's bleeding. You could shoot it with that potato gun. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be more time to shoot it with the potato gun.
Yeah, so I grab a potato from the sack.
Is anybody helping?
I mean, I gave him the potatoes. You know what I'm saying? I'll just retcon that they were like grade A Idaho raised, high quality, ultra dense potatoes.
They're like this big, like
Thaddeus. If you say use the potatoes, then that's inventive. you can throw that in. The only thing is that it exposes you to danger, but
I mean, he already knows to use the potatoes. I would actually, I think for me, the one I would probably, what did I do last time? I think last time I was being sneaky. I think this time I would probably go with battle hardened. So like, I just know as we're tangled up, when to turn his body towards the fire.
All right, that's an extra die.
All right, let's go. My die from that. I got my. See here. Do I get a die for the weapon itself?
Not for the potato gun. You could get a die for the battle axe.
Gotcha.
Oh wait, actually, sorry. You do get 2 dice for promotions consultant.
Yes.
We've already established that firing a t-shirt cannon or potato gun is like within your core skill set.
Awesome. All right, cool.
So you're at 4.
Gotcha. And I'll use my kinesthetic control as well.
You can't do that because it's part of your side profession, not your main profession.
Gotcha.
Which like you got to go down the chain. Yeah. But you can use quick reflexes.
Gotcha. All right, cool. 5. I got my 5.
Got any luck?
No, I've used all my luck, but that's okay.
All right.
What about the luck from when Tony did his character flaw? You say you're just going to assign it and say who.
Oh, did I get another luck from that too?
Yeah, Tony, if you want him to have that luck, he can have that luck.
Yeah, you said you were going to give it to somebody. If it's open to whoever wants to use it, I'm fine with Aaron giving it. Yeah,
sure.
All right, cool.
I don't know that it's necessary right now, but go ahead and take it.
I like it.
No.
Yeah, you're gonna target 2.
6 hits and then net neutral on the spirals and spares.
Nice.
So yeah, you've stabbed it, Thaddeus. You turn it, and he loads up the potato gun and takes aim and fires, and it hits the creature right in its like brain pan, like right at the base of the neck, and it just passes out immediately. You feel it go limp.
I will overtly state a properly, this is not for whatever, but for anybody out there watching, a properly built potato gun will put a potato through a car door, by the way. Most potato guns are not built like they don't have their chamber maximized or other stuff like that, but they are not inconsequential.
I guess we didn't establish how serious this potato gun was, but
I think it's way more serious than a normal
one. You would have, yes.
Yeah. I don't think it's through a car door level, but it is like probably dent sheet metal level.
And
I'm
not going to narrate what happened. Yeah, I'm not going to narrate what happened to that goblin, but needless to say, the potato gun performed flawlessly.
No, that was just a weird bit of extra information, not seeking more damage on this poor fake creature by this amazingly well-built fake weapon. That was not at all what that was about.
So anyway, it goes down, and you can open the door to the roof. You see that whose dad was it?
It would have been
mine.
Marty's dad.
Right. So Marty's dad is like unconscious and bound, and Lily is standing up bound, and it looks like one of these things has been beaten up on the roof by her. And otherwise you can see there's like a bunch of, against like all of the edges of the roof, there is a bunch of like stuff tied up to be holding a lot of these appliances that are dangling off, and there's like a little mini catapult with a bunch of cinder blocks sitting next to it, but Lily is otherwise in the clear. The other thing you see sitting in the middle of the roof is like, it's like an old-timey lantern, but it's black and there's no light in it, and it has a bad feeling to it. Like it feels like your ears are kind of popping from like this, like a pressure undulation sort of emanating off of it. And Lily says, "You made it. Took you long enough." And she goes and like puts up her binding to you, Isaac, so you can cut it.
We'll go ahead and cut it off.
Good job.
I like unnecessarily salute. Commander, that is T-Trap for the third. Order for duty. Excellent job securing the facility. I can't imagine how these interlopers got the drop on you, but we wouldn't have been able to help you if you hadn't helped us. So we are at your disposal.
Lily, look what these
Excellent
monsters
work.
did to my suit. I need $800.
We can discuss the $800 with your father later.
Yeah, Marty, you want to be one of those mazes of monster heroes? I think you need to take the axe to that there lantern.
What's the situation? What are we doing?
We got to destroy some anchors. How we used to fight like Navy all the time and things. It's kind of like that. They're people from another realm are getting up in our business just like they used to. So we gotta take care of that. Here, real quick, I want to try something. I stick my hand into the lantern and I say, the blackest night falls from the skies, the darkness grows, as my light dies, we crave your hearts and your demise. By my black hand, the dead shall rise, and see if I can summon an army of undead.
It does not. It is not effective.
Dang it! I thought we were doing a Marvel crossover.
But
also. Never mind. That's DC,
everybody's
so
a
it doesn't
little
matter.
nervous and creeped out for just a second.
Yeah. So I go over to my unconscious father, Silvio DiGiulio, and say, "This is finally, you're gonna be proud of me." And I take the axe and I swing it and smash into the lantern.
Baba, the like radiance of the axe collides with this dark like lantern, and there's the kind of explosion where everybody's knocked off their feet but nobody's injured, of like beautiful light, and then the light sort of like gutters and fades, and basically like you are like hearing some screams and some explosions off in the distance. You kind of have been all night. And you look over at the rooftop adjacent to you, and there is this just gigantic elk creature standing on it that has horns that are like made of crystal, and it's probably like 10 feet tall, but it's just like standing there. Is the most majestic elk you've ever seen. And then like the air around it ripples and it just sort of like gets sucked into nothingness. And a bunch of the screams off in the distance stop at the same time. And Lily says, "It looks like that did something. Let's secure the perimeter and hunker down until we can figure out what's going on."
Yes, ma'am, Commander.
Yes, ma'am.
Congratulations, everyone. You have successfully completed NYC&D.
What?
Yay!
We have to destroy all the other anchors. There's a whole nother. I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Awesome. Dean, did you have something you're gonna say?
Yeah, just a little after a scene there, as they're standing there. Although Marty blames you for this.
All right. We do a little thing here on +1 EXP. It's a live stream within a live stream. We call it Reaction Roll. Reaction Roll is a chance for us to sit down with a creator whose game we just played and talk to them about what our experience was, ask them questions, maybe get some answers and get some insight. Today we are playing Spiral Dice with the Sapio system. It is live right now on Kickstarter, funding the creation of the dice that help drive this narrative-rich system. We played today with John, the creator. John, for people who are just joining us, watching this later, whatever it may be, go ahead and give us kind of the elevator pitch for Spiral Dice.
Sure. So Spiral Dice are simple dice that drive complex and unexpected narratives in RPGs. Effectively, they're dice that hopefully won't be too expensive when they exist in physical form, and you can easily build a dice pool of them and roll them, and then get some narrative twists out of them. Whether that's using them in the Sapio system, or as a GM tool in place of like random tables, or maybe for your own designs if you're a amateur or professional game designer, whatever the case.
Awesome. Well, we just played an adventure called NYC&D, which is a system that was built, or a game that was built specifically on top of this project. You kind of funded it as an itch project originally. We were chatting about this. There was some interest in it, and you've doing incredibly well on the Kickstarter, from going through, hey, we have an itch project, we're thinking about doing this, to currently having funded. It's been super exciting to just watch it explode. I had a blast playing, but I'd love to hear from some of our other players. So let's start with Dean. Dean, tell people what character you played, who they were, and kind of what your experience was playing Spiral Dice.
All right. Well, I was playing the character Isaac, with the last name I had to look up here in a moment, but I was playing Isaac. We kind of went through this from the prospect of what was essentially hunters / doomsday preppers and food truck owners. I really like the system. It's a very narrative focus. Coming from a background of games like Dungeons and Dragons, and even World of Darkness, it tends to be very rule heavy. So I like how this was more focused on the narrative, but it still has mechanics so you can proceed naturally. And rather than having turns, everyone just kind of moves as a general unit, which I also enjoy. I personally have not played a lot of freeform combat like that, so I really like that. And the focal point is a good idea. That I like it for the purpose of the freeform combat. So I would say overall, I like this. I will probably back this after tonight. I'll probably back this myself. So
awesome. Thank you.
I like the system.
Did you have any questions for John?
Not at the moment. The system is pretty solid. Do you, with the system, do you see yourself doing alternative kind of stories in the future, like superhero or sci-fi or anything like that? Something to look forward to?
Yeah, so the Kickstarter comes with the Sapio Zombies supplement. Okay. I have a pretty good degree of comfort with zombies, modern, near future, cyberpunk-ish, and fantasy with Sapio. But that being said, basically, like, the Kickstarter will happen, and because it exists, I'm going to continue to generate supplements for it over time so that it has an expanded sort of scope. I use this to run campaigns. NYC&D is not a campaign game. I mean, maybe it could turn into a campaign game for somebody. But there's a lot more sort of brain content to be tacked on top of the system and twisted to different uses.
I like that, and I like, well, what would make it at the NYC and D would probably be a pretty good one. I enjoy the concept because, at least in my groups, we don't run with the modern meets D&D group, so that'd be a cool supplement to have for your system. I think it's good fun.
What I like about NYC&D as like the elevator pitch for Spiral Dice and Sapio is like it can touch on tropes, and so it's like kind of fun to be and fun to kind of call up the D&D stuff. At the same time, it's a pretty like simple premise that you got to go save somebody. There are monsters in the way, but it's fun because you get to see them do weird stuff in a modern setting, and so it's kind of a nice like, hey, here's the intro to the system, and like you can get comfortable with it and enjoy the experience at the same time.
Awesome. Aaron, tell people who you are, what your experience was playing, a little bit about the character journey that you went on.
Yes, so I played Marty DiGiulio, the slacker, nephew, and hype man of the food truck. Certainly, definitely a charisma build with this one. I love that this system gives you narrative flexibility with the kinds of skills and characteristics you have. Playing other games, I think we can really get painted into a corner with the skills we have to choose, and to be able to have some flexibility on how you design your character makes it so much more fun to play. And I really appreciate that about the system. being able to really call your shot when it comes to the skills that you have when you're creating your characters. So much more freeing to do that, and I'm very appreciative of that. I love the chaos, the innate chaos in the spiral die as well. I mean, the idea that you can succeed on something but also still have unintended consequences seems very that should be more natural approach to how we do games anyway. That there are always those unintended consequences, both either positive or negative or neutral. So that was a lot of fun too. And I'm curious, John, where did you get the inspiration to create a system like this that has so much more narrative freedom to do those things? Like, what gave you the inspiration to create this?
Yeah, so so Sapio actually existed long before Spiral Dice, and Spiral Dice eventually met a need that Sapio had. Sapio, in its initial conception, looked a little bit more like Barbarians of Lemuria, and you had more steps to the partials, the way you could partially apply your profession. And so the idea was like to boil down that skill list into like what, kind of, okay, this is my core skill set, and then like it might be partially or whatever applicable. I played some Fate, some Genesis, Powered by the Apocalypse games, got familiar with like the loops that happen in those games and how they flow. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I could put one of those loops onto dice, and then and I could design it ahead of time, and it would create a certain experience. And so that was the idea. And, I was trying to hack Genesis dice to fit with Sapio, and they're like way too complicated, and the stats don't really work out quite the right way. And so, just finally shedding the custom components are a hassle, and people don't necessarily want to buy them. Shedding like that kind of baggage and just being like, I'm just going to make dice, and I'm going to make dice. I'm going to put them with the system, and it's all going to work together nicely. And it does. I'm happy with the product, and surprised that it succeeded, but also, happy that it succeeded on Kickstarter so far.
Awesome. I've got a question from Jehananan in the chat also too that I'm going to ask in just a second. If y'all have questions out there who are watching right now, or if you even have them later, go ahead and type them in the chat. If you're watching live right now, I'll ask John. If you're watching later on, we'll tag John and make sure he gets a chance to answer them and come back around to it. I will say this: I don't like Genesis dice. I have always been bothered by the way the succeed but have a horrible bad consequence, or fail but have it work well. It seems like it opens up a lot of narrative pieces, and it's cumbersome and clunky and doesn't make sense a lot of times in play. Like it's never a system I've gravitated towards. And even when I saw what you were doing, it has some of those touchstones. Like, it's very evident to see the influence there. Having played your system, I really enjoyed it. Like, I had a tremendous time. I didn't come in thinking I was going to have a bad time. I wouldn't have invited you on just to dump on your game. But I'll be like, so I came in with like a kind of edge against like, okay, I've played a touchstone of this mechanically, and I just think it's cumbersome and clunky and doesn't work. So I love hearing what you just said, because this was easy and fun. Because it wasn't like, oh, we didn't succeed when we got the hits. Like, it never felt like we didn't succeed, right? It felt more like a PBTA experience of a mixed success, right? Either way, whether I failed and got to choose a good thing, or whether I succeeded but there was some consequences, it felt more like failure if I didn't hit and had a consequence, or that mixed success in the middle. And so I loved hearing, like, you've done a phenomenal job of taking the feel of PBTA, the mechanical idea behind Genesis, and some of those other pieces in Fate with tags and some of the simple character building processes, infusing those into something that really is wholly unique. Like, I can see each of those influences in there, and it comes out in a really satisfying way that I would happily build stuff on, because it is very quickly easy to say, once you understand the core mechanics of this, just like PBTA, skin it, change a genre, add a thing. So like, I love that. So I think my big question is, you've got the system, you've made the rules available. Like, somebody can play on this. You've got to set to build this. Is it Creative Commons? Is it by attribution? Are you Vincent Bakering it, where it's like, send me an email and we'll talk? I want to make sure you're not a horrible person before I let you use my system. How are you opening this up for other people to engage in the system beyond just running games? I think is my big thing, because it is incredibly simple and fun to play.
First off, thank you. That's really nice to hear that you enjoyed it and that it does work the way that I hoped it would. The licensing is actually something that I am thinking through right now. As I mentioned, I did not expect my Kickstarter to succeed, or like, I expected it to be a struggle. I didn't expect to kind of be signed up potentially to make more content in the future. And so I had always been like, these rules are available. They are free for anybody who wants to use them. I don't put any claim on them, and I'm not going to sue you. I want the Sapio core rules to be available to anybody. The supplements, I'm probably going to lock down a little bit more as my own creations. And then when it comes to others creating content, my hope is that I can support people in that process. I haven't fully worked through what that looks like. I know there's like a blank page on my website that's like, things created by other people that I can, put up there, but people haven't populated that with anything. But I do hope that I can kind of support those efforts in the future, whether that's people creating Sapio content or creating other content with Spiral Dice.
Like I said, I had a blast. And it's really funny, you mentioned you weren't sure you were going to succeed. You didn't think you were going to be. And John and I have already had this conversation. I didn't think John was going to succeed either. Like, it was part of our conversation even leading up to this. We had talked about playing. I'd seen this stuff. I was excited to have it on because it was a mechanic I've never looked at and liked before, that all of a sudden I was looking at and thinking, this actually looks pretty good and like I would enjoy it. And then he was like, you'd launched your itch project, had a couple people pump a little bit into that. And I was like, when are you launching? And you were like, in 2 weeks. And I was like, how many people do you have following your project? He's like, not a lot. And I was like, don't run a Kickstarter. Like, just wait. Like, we can hype it. We can do it up. And you're doing a great job. You've funded early on. You're moving along consistently. There's still plenty of space for people to go support it. And I would encourage people to do that. It's actually a really great story of somebody coming in with an idea and going from like, not that you just developed it, but from a little bit of interest and then seizing that and then writing that into a successful campaign. I couldn't be more excited for you, and happy to be very wrong. We were both wrong. But John Anon wants to know, could you tell us about the process of doing a Kickstarter? What's been your experience of that, with that said?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I know there's currently some focus on Kickstarter, like some negative focus on Kickstarter. The process of doing the Kickstarter started 3 or 4 months before I actually went live with it. My friend Jack does my art, and it kind of came together that I was going to do a Kickstarter because I was like, look, I have the system. I think it's pretty good. I don't have money to pay for art. And he was like, oh, I'll illustrate your stuff. And, we can
and the art's
share
phenomenal.
eventually.
Like, the art is great.
Yeah, he's great. It's so good. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe we could get this going. And then there was, somebody who was sort of interested in helping with layouts. And I was like, well, I can pay you, if we get funded. And so, I started building the Kickstarter site, and like the Kickstarter UI is kind of funky. You got to do a lot of math ahead of time to make sure that your funding is actually going to meet the needs. There's a process of figuring out how to ship things, which is unique, I think, with dice that don't come with anything else. Because there's like funny stuff of like, you can ship 2 sets of Spiral Dice for relatively cheap, but not 4. But basically, like, you do the math, you build the site using their UI, and ideally you're getting enough followers beforehand that you feel pretty confident that your product is going to succeed. I would say I was on the fence, as Tony mentioned. Like, I started early. That was largely because my wife was like, no, we're not delaying on this thing anymore. You're not gonna spin for another like 2 weeks or 4 weeks before we go live. So you're going live when you said you were going to go live. And thankfully it worked. But you know, I think ideally the process, especially if it's a game that you know needs you want to get a critical mass of people who are playing it and enjoying it before you do the Kickstarter, either as like a playtest community or something like that before you go live, and then you know ideally you fund quickly, and then the rest of it is just continuing to call it out to people and get people to add on to your ability to fund a little bit higher.
And
I'm happy because now we're past my stretch goals, and we're now at the point where I can just make the product better, and not promise more things to people.
Yeah. And you've also you had I mean, like, there was good community support. Like, I was excited, and I hope for TTRPGs was excited. I know there've been a lot of people in the community who saw what you were doing. You did a great job of sharing your work up front too, which lets people, like, saying I've got an idea for a game is very different than I posted the rules for this game. You can check it out. Do you want to play? Like, and then being engaged in the broader games community is incredibly helpful. And you did all those things really, really well, which a lot of creators don't. They'll kind of hold things close to the vest, worried that somebody's going to come by and take their idea or do something else with it. And your work process paid off. And it's something I highly encourage people to do. I think you've done a great job with it. Jim, Germany said, "Hey, John, glad that your KS is doing well. I stumbled across some of your earlier design musings while looking at some lighter Genesis alternatives a while back. Definitely excited about this project." Yeah, like I said, there's like, Genesis was such a great idea that I'm not somebody who likes to I don't enjoy the system. If you love the system, if you're from Genesis out there and you're watching, you want to come on and prove me wrong and show me how I can love it, it's great. I would love to have different opinions about it. It never worked for me whenever I tried to play it.
And I do have to say the like excitement of people who like Genesis and are doing things with it was sort of one of my touchstones for encouragement, because I was like, this is not the system that I want it to be. And there are people who are like trying to hack it to do various different things and having trouble, and like the fact that there was such excitement and there was a joy in the dice themselves, which, like, a lot of people will tell you custom components are, and Tony knows this as well, but like custom components are a hassle as a maker, and also, you know, it's an extra hurdle for people, but I think people do enjoy them. And that was what I took away from it, was really like, there are people who like the dice, who like want them, and are most upset that they can't get them in multiple colors, by the way.
They're really cool.
Which,
Yeah.
I mean, I get that. Like, for our last game, Repugnant, that we kickstarted, which Pledge Manager open now, go to ttrpg/gross RPG, ttrpg.link/gross RPG to check it out. Anyways, I wanted a D2 system, but one of the reasons I chose D2 was because at the end of the day, it's not hard to make a D2 yourself, even if it's custom. Like, you can print something out on heavy cardstock or slap it on cardboard, or just take coins and have a D2 system, right? At the end of the day, D2s are just a two-sided object. But if you want, and so, like, I could print things on chipboard. We figured out ways we could do things really affordably. It's an easy item to get stuff mocked up for. People think dice are cheap. Dice are not cheap. You want to customize a die, I mean, like, if you're looking to print just a handful of them, you're talking about like dozens to scores of dollars of dice, just to, like, I want a set.
That's
as opposed
correct.
Yeah, and if you get up into the hundreds to 200s, you're still talking about $5 to $6 a dice. You've got to get up to close to 1,000 units before you're looking at any kind of reasonable price to break, just to change the sides of already existing dice.
right. That's not like a nice dice set. That's like
Yeah.
that's just getting your symbols on the dice. And the reason is that the molding process it's hard to industrialize it very effectively without a bunch of upfront costs. And that's what it is.
And Jeremy just mentioned the reading the bones part of the symbols, like that augury component of a narrative system, which is, again, one of the reasons I wanted a custom thing for Repugnant. It's one of the things that Genesis tried to do. It's one of the things that Spiral Dice does incredibly well, is you want that augury, like, we're going to roll these and they're going to tell us something about what happened, more than just success, failure, or even with more nuanced things, partial success, partial failure. And without things getting too granular. That's the other thing. Like, I loved the net aspect. I loved the choices that then you could make based on what happened, the magnitude, the proximity, all those different things, and that mix between player and GM control on that is another fun thing that flows very simply. I'll have more thoughts on a polished review at some point in the future. I'm looking forward to. I just looked. I haven't backed it yet for whatever dumb reason. So I'm going to hop on there and do it also too in just 1 second. Again, I'd encourage you guys, if you're watching live on Twitch right now, check it out. Otherwise, if you're on Kickstarter later on, go ahead and check it in the chat. But it's Spiral Dice on Kickstarter. You can Google it. You can go to that link right down below all of our faces, ttrpg.link /spiraldiceKS to check it out. Nope, that was the wrong thing that I just posted in there. There we go. I mean, it's a good thing to go to also, but it's not the right thing. So if nobody has any more questions in the chat, Dean, again, where can people find you online if they want to find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at GeekusDean. That's GEEKUS and then Dean. I'm just spelling it up because most people have a hard time hearing me say it.
Like me. And so sometimes I get it wrong. Aaron, if people want to find you online, where can they find you?
Find me on Twitter at HeyGillyGilly.
Awesome. And then John, we already talked about where they can find the Kickstarter at, but if people want to connect with you, follow your work, see more stuff coming in the future, what's the best place to connect with you online?
Twitter's good at Spiral Dice, Spiral_Dice.
Awesome. And we stream on a fairly regular basis here on Plus One EXP. One of our hopes, our desires, as a weird little brand that multi-classes in tabletop game design, beard and skincare alchemy, and the Bardic College of Content Creation, is to help great designers find players who love their games and help players find great designers whose games they can love. We don't believe that designers should have to pay for that. If you want to help support the channel, if you're watching live right now, you can click on the coffee link below. If not, you can go to coffee.com/plus1exp to become a content champion. Starting at the beginning of next month, we'll be doing game giveaways. We'll have some of our games for free, as well as just real physical games that you can get sent to you a couple times a month. We'll do raffles and drawings for those. You'll be able to have a little bit control over what we do on the channel, and you'll get some additional content. Go help out there. We would love to get to the point not only where we're paying members of our team better, not me, but the other people who make things happen, but also the players who come on stream with us. If you want to join us for our next actual play, the best one to go, that we've got one coming up tomorrow, not the best one. I mean, they're all great. The best one to check out in the near future is we're playing Necrobiotic, which is a necropunk game where you're building the bodies of flesh automatons because the human population has dwindled down to a point where it's barely sustainable, and we don't exactly know why, and that's the world we're surviving in. We're playing that with Penny for a Tale, who are the designers of that game also. That's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We'll be back next week with more community conversations, and we have an upcoming feature on itch funding early in May also that we're going to devote a week to talking about why people are using itch to fund their games instead of Kickstarter, or is in collaboration with what they're doing on Kickstarter also too, and kind of some of the different ways that is supporting the indie RPG scene. So that's going to come up in early May. We have a great panel of people who are going to be on for a few different conversations around that. So if you haven't hit follow here or subscribe to us on YouTube, or aren't following us across all social media platforms at Plus1EXP, please do. But until next time, we're all going to just wave at the screen until I take us off there.
Bye.
Ciao.
Oh, where's my cursor?